Hey y'all. Good evening. How y'all doing? What's up? How you guys doing today? Welcome in. Ooh, I almost didn't come on tonight. I'll tell you that much. I almost didn't. But seeing all y'all's happy faces, I'm sure glad I did. And by seeing your happy faces, I mean your happy faces that are in your little pictures. So Tracy, I see yours. Carolyn, I see yours. VJ, you just have a little orange thing. So I just have to imagine what your face would look like. Imagining. All right. Think I got it. Yeah, well, the whole goal was you guys know I'm running a morning show now. Well, I'm sure most of you guys know I'm running a morning show now.
You are connected as the host.
I think most of y'all know I'm running a morning show now. So, the goal was that well, I'm sorry, Tara. I'm sorry, but it's a necessity. I'm running a morning show now. And so is what it is. But the idea is to run a night show also. All right. A couple times a week. So what I want to do is run my morning show Monday through Friday, and I want to be on here with y'all at night on Tuesdays and Thursdays. The reason for that is well, you guys know I play tennis on Wednesdays, so the schedule is always funky. And then Fridays, I normally don't get on live here. So yeah, so it just makes sense to do it Tuesdays and Thursdays where I do nighttime shows. Now, I'll be honest with you, the nighttime shows on here have not been going how they used to. But I'm willing to do more if the numbers show that that's what they want. Also, I have my podcast coming out every Fridays. Yes, KM Morning Show on TikTok and on YouTube every morning, 10 a.m. Central. So I'll be back on tomorrow. Yes, I'm very busy. I'm very busy. Yeah. Yeah, exactly, Tara. So I could either sit there and drown in my sorrows about not getting, MAGA to come in, or I can do a show that we can all enjoy with regardless of whether they call in. And if I'm going to do that, I'm going to do it in the morning. And the reason I want to do it in the morning is because I'm more fresh at 10 a.m. I'm smarter then. As the day goes on, I get dumber. Okay? Yeah. By the time you guys see me at night, this is as dumb as I get. This is peak level stupid for me. All right. I'm scary smarter in the morning. I'm scary smarter in the morning. So, anyways, I know you guys all have your morning routines, you have your jobs, you have your shows that you watch in the morning, but I would really, really appreciate it if you guys would stop by and watch my show. Tomorrow we are going to go over um the shooting in Maine, the shooting in Houston, and the fact that there was another migrant killed in an ice pursuit today in Florida, in my state. So that's what we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about that starting at 10 a.m. tomorrow. We're also going to talk a little bit about daylight savings times bill that was just passed by the House. We're going to talk a little bit about that. If you like hearing me rant and go off and go wild, you're going to love the show tomorrow, okay? So, you'll love the show tomorrow. But yes, I am very busy. You want to hear my schedule for Thursday? Here's my schedule for Thursday. I have to wake up. I'll wake up about 7. And I'll start prepping for the show at 10 because that's about how long it takes me. I'll get my coffee and start prepping for the show at 10 at about 7 after I shake off, whatever. Then what daylight savings times update? Well, you're going to have to show up at my show tomorrow morning if you want to find out. We might be getting rid of daylight savings time or keeping daylight savings time. Anyways, you'll want to show up later. Then I'll go start my show at 10, right? Get all my thumbnails, everything all ready to go. I'll have my show from 10 to noon. At 1, I have an interview with an expert in economics in foreign policy. And we are going to talk about exactly how the U.S. is using economics, both using it and failing to use it correctly against Iran, and how that same playbook ties in with China. So I'll be on that interview for about an hour and a half. Then directly after that, I've been invited to be on another interview podcast. So then I'll go and talk on another podcast for about another hour and a half. Then I'll try to squeeze in food at some point before getting back on with y'all at night to debate. That's my current Thursday schedule. So I am very busy. Very, very busy. But hey, I would rather be busy than bored. You know what I'm saying? I would rather be busy than bored. You know what I'm saying? I would rather be busy than bored. Bored is okay for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But eventually I'm not going to want to be bored anymore, you know? Eventually I will get very, very tired of being bored. So, anyways, thank you guys so much for being here. How can anyone be bored when you can read? So, here's the thing, and I don't know what y'all can diagnose me with whatever you need to diagnose me with. I have a hard time reading like for too long when it comes to things that are not like, I can sit there and read a law or a Supreme Court decision for like an hour and be fine. If I read something just for fun, I will, my brain just goes. And next thing I know, I'm 3 pages past where I started, and I didn't know a single thing that I said. That I read. I have no idea. No clue what I read. I don't know why that does that to me. But it's only when it really truly depends on what I'm reading. If I'm researching, no issue. If I'm researching, zero issue. Doesn't make much sense, does it? It's like my brain processes research differently than it processes, like different than it processes reading for fun. I don't know why. Harlequin romance novels. Well, there is some. Maybe I just need to switch what I'm reading. Yeah, maybe I need to switch what I'm reading. Maybe I need to read some more like some of those like smutty novels. You know? Maybe I need to read some of those smutty novels. Their long black hair rolling down their porcelain skin. I don't know. I've never read that. I have actually no idea what they said. No idea. No idea how those things go. Yeah. I can't, but like my brain does that. Like I can't, like, it is very rare I can sit there and watch something on like Netflix. Like, doesn't happen. Yeah. Doesn't happen. I don't just sit there and read something on Netflix or watch something on Netflix. Like my brain will just go off into another land. And all of a sudden I'm like, what is this thing I'm watching? There are, but see, it's funny. And here's the funny part. My brain doesn't do that on like documentaries. Like documentaries is something I'm interested in. Doesn't do that. Doesn't do it. So like if I'm watching like an in-depth like World War II like documentary, glued. My brain is like straight up. I tried to turn on that documentary on like that ship that capsized. And I was like, I do not care. Like my brain just completely just ignored the entirety of it. Like I was like the let me guess, the boat sunk, it sucked. Like, you know what I'm saying? Tell me all about the story. What is it? Did the boat sink? Did the boat sink? Did it suck for the people that were on the boat? Nailed it. I think I got the whole documentary. Yeah, if I know what the ending is going to be, if I know what the ending is going to be in the movie, my brain just does not care anymore. But see, that doesn't make sense because I know what happened in World War II. I'm still gonna sit there and watch it. Like I, so maybe that's not it at all. Maybe that's not it at all. Maybe I don't. Maybe I'm just saying shit. Maybe I'm just saying. I don't know, man. How about true crime? So first of all, yes, I can fuck with true crime hard. True crime, I love turning on true crime. Do you know what's been my like what I've been addicted to? Like just straight addicted to for like it's been longer than it should be. It's like excuse me. It's police chases, right? It's police chases and then also like just people getting pulled over that don't know how to act. Those have been my two things that I've just been addicted to. Like recently. Dude, I can't. Dude, I will watch that shit all day long. Like I will watch that shit all day long. I do not care. There was this one. There was this one where this guy he he went through the California agriculture inspection. All right? He went through the California agriculture inspection and was like, "Yeah, I'm not telling you what's in the car." And they were like, "Well, you're gonna tell us what's in the car." And he's like, "It's a violation of the Fourth Amendment." And they were like, "Nah, no, like it's not. Just now we have to inspect your car because now you made this difficult. We were just gonna ask you a question, and now we gotta stop the car." And then he's like, "Am I free to go?" And they were like, "Yeah, you're 100% free to go, but the car is not. Like the car is staying here." And he's like, "Am I detained?" And he's just like going on. And they're like, "No, you can go, but the car stays here until we inspect it." He's like, "I'm gonna leave if I'm not detained." And they were like, "If you drive off with this car, like we're calling California Highway Patrol to come get you." And he sat there and argued 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 and finally just drove off. And the next camera you see is the California Highway Patrol telling him to either get out of California or to go back to the inspection station to, do it. Dude, they gave this guy 150,000 chances. So many more chances. See, this is why I couldn't be a cop. Like sometimes they just be giving these dudes like I'm all for like police patience and police understanding and police drastically explaining like what's going on, and that way there's no confusion with with them being not quick to lethal force or even non-lethal force, or less lethal force, right? But dude, they must have told this dude this same shit 60 times. They must have told this same dude 60 times. Like, bro, you just have to stop at the agriculture inspection. So either go back to it or get out of California. If not, we're going to pull you out and arrest you. And they did it over and over. And finally, dude was like, all right, dude, like I have to pull you out of the car and arrest you now. And they were like, he was like, you're not going to do anything. And he was like, all right, like break the window, I guess. Like the cop didn't even want to do it. Like they didn't want, like they did not want to do it at all. And finally there was like, I guess break the fucking window, man. I don't know what else to do. Broke his window, got a felony. Like just so stupid, man. Just so stupid. Like, and it was like on one of those like audit the police. Oh, I guess the guest left. I was about to pull someone up. I guess they're like, it was like on one of those like audit the police, the people that were like, are like super like, you know, like anti-police, like don't let the police walk over you, which I love. I think that's great. Like all about, you know, knowing your rights and all sorts of stuff. It was one of those pages, and they usually grade the cop and the person at the end of it. And at the end, they were like, the cops get an A for explaining everything to this person perfectly, and the other dude gets an F for literally not knowing his own constitutional rights and making the rest of us look bad. And I was like, that's fucking hilarious. Like, it's like he makes constitutionalists everywhere and people that audit the police, he makes us all look bad. Thanks to House Student. By the way, the Supreme Court has a 100% ruled that it is not a legal search and seizure to have an agricultural check. Just thought, like, if anybody's tempted to do that, okay? If anybody's tempted to do that, just know it is not an illegal search and seizure to go through an agricultural check. In case you're wondering. Okay? Go through an agricultural check. In case you're wondering. Okay?
Hey, not gonna lie, gang. I slapped the dog shit out of you.
You can't even figure out how to get on a live without echoing.
Yeah, I don't.
You're too stupid to figure out TikTok live. I get like 80-year-old dudes up here that can understand this, dude. There are people up here before like we had like normalized that were born before like normalized central air was a thing in the United States. And they can understand TikTok live better than you can. I don't think you're slapping the shit out of anybody. Yeah. Yeah, I don't think you're slapping the shit out of anybody. All right? I don't. That's not scary. That's not scary at all. Yeah. You're going to have to be better than that if you're going to scare me. Anyways, Tara, thank you so much for the money gun. We got a little gift goal of money guns up there. First of all, if you support Trump or anywhere in that vicinity, if you're still a conservative, if you're still a Republican, and you want to try to defend your stance over here, tell me how you're even still doing this. I don't know. There's not very many of y'all. So I guess it's just a lot of confusion out there for y'all. That's okay. I understand. But you can come in on TikTok live chat, or you can even better call in on the number that's either above my head or next to my head, depending on which live you're watching from. If you like to support the live, I have a little live gift goal going on up here. Trying to keep the lights on over here, as you guys know. So we're just we're just moving right along. But if you'd like to, I mean, we have, let's see, between all the lives, we have about like just over, that's about 500 people total watching. Just saying, if like a quarter of you guys sent $1, whether that's through my pay links, which are all at Polypolitics, or through super chats or anything like that, or gifting stuff like that, we could knock this out like super super fast. You know. So if you guys like support, that would really really mean a lot to me. Thank you guys so much. All no bad donations. They are all helpful. Alali, how's the podcast going? Expensive, which is why I'm on here begging and grifting. No, it's going well. I think you guys are really gonna like the episode. Well, no, that wasn't a lie. But I think you guys are really gonna like the episode coming up this Friday. Like, I truly want to. How you guys feel about the episode that will be coming out this Friday will 100% define how the podcast goes, or if the podcast goes further. So we've seen some decrease in viewership lately. So yeah, but please check out the podcast. Please. please go do that. We love you, but the field is pretty saturated. You need to ask. Field's pretty saturated with what? Podcasting? I need to get more consistent here. I've been on 5 to 6 days a week for 3 years. How much more consistent would you like me to be? Oh, the Trump debates are just the side thing now. I have a whole show that's going on every day at 10 a.m. You should show up and hang out. I have a whole morning show at 10 a.m. Come check it out. Tomorrow we're talking about the ICE shootings in Maine, the ICE shootings in Houston. We're talking about the death of I don't even know their name yet. The person that died today in Florida due to an ICE chase. So yeah. Yeah, you guys don't need to pay attention at work. Just put it on in the background. Just put it on in the background. Just listen. Hang out. You guys don't need to pay attention. You guys just listen. You only watch me and Pac-Man? Well, that's great company. Where's the morning show? It is on YouTube and TikTok. I run it on YouTube and TikTok. We did day 2 today. I am running that morning show every day for the next at 10 a.m. outside of a catastrophic thing that I have to do Monday through Friday. So, we're going to be running that for the next 60 days straight. We're going to be running that for the next 60 days straight. So, if you guys can make it, awesome. If you can't, I understand. But even cooler, if you can't and you still want to watch it, there is a... What happened? Oh, there it goes. There's a replay every single day, too. That's awesome. Actually, like I said, my show yesterday got about... on YouTube, got about 900 views during the day. Or about 10... about 1,000 views during the day, during the live, and then another like 700-800 after for you guys coming back and rewatching it too. So, yeah, I think it's awesome. I think it's awesome, and I'm enjoying it. It's fun. It's a new format. We're doing something new, and I have more new stuff that I want to try to do because, like you guys said, and like somebody very much mentioned, Lots of leftist content is being slowed down. Speaking of Pac-Man made a whole video about how leftist content is being suppressed. Totally cool. Understand it when the debates are really slow for pretty much everybody, unless your name is Dean Withers. Which, no hate on that, just is what it is. So, yeah, we're moving on to newer and better things. So, yep, newer and better things. So, hey, it's all good. It's not hurting my feelings. Here's the really awesome thing that allows what it allows you to do, right? When you're not getting the debates anymore, when things like that aren't working out, okay? What it gives you a chance to do is expand. It gives you a chance to do new things. And I think that that's kind of cool, right? It gives you a chance to flex, and it gives you a chance to move, and it gives you a chance to do new things. Talk about the news. Dragonflies. I am talking about the news every morning at 10 a.m. Central. You should come check it out. We've done 2 shows. Leela, I really appreciate your criticism. I really do, and I'm not trying to take it as anything like that. Okay. Everybody is lower, and no one's getting debates. I watched Parker, who has 5,000-6,000 people in his live, shut down a live the other day because he ran out of debates. Okay. So I totally understand. Totally get it. I appreciate it. Okay. But it's not consistency, considering that until this last like 2 weeks when I've slowed down, have been on 5 to 6 days a week. Yeah. 5 to 6 days a week, every single week at pretty consistent times for years. Okay. So I really appreciate it. I'm not judging. I'm not trying to get mad, but like trust me, I promise you, I watch my numbers and what's happening based off of time, based off of everything that happens. I do it obsessively. I actually literally have OCD. I'm literally clinically diagnosed OCD. So like I obsessively dig into the numbers. I'm watching other people's lives. I'm seeing how they're like what times they're going on. What's going does not matter. It does not matter. So we're changing things and we're making things a little more evergreen. We're making them a little bit different. We're putting my spin on things and we're just kind of finding a groove, and that's all right. And that's all right. You know? And that's okay. It doesn't bother me. If you guys want to come, and hang out and watch the new content, I really appreciate you guys. If you guys don't want to come watch the new content, I appreciate you guys there too. Okay? I appreciate you guys regardless. All right? I truly, truly do. You know? I truly, truly do. Thank you so much, Shay. I appreciate that. Also, I thought I got sent one by somebody else, but it never popped up. I think Brown Eyed. Thank you so much. Adolphus, thank you so much for the $3 over on Venmo. Says better than Dean Withers. Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. I wasn't trying to put it in a comparison, but I do really appreciate it. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you so much. And Calvary, thank you so much for the 5. Said, what did the golfing sniper say to Charlie? Oh, that's fucked up. That's messed up. That's fucked up. I'm not even finishing that. That's fucked up. Oh, I saw another one too. Hold on. Where'd it go? There it is. Jen, thank you so much for the 5. said TikTok is suppressing most anti-Trump streamers like crazy. It's fucking wild. Yeah, even Pac-Man got on, and I don't know if you guys are familiar with what impressions are, but pretty much impressions are how many times a social media platform suggests your content, right? Um and so impressions are super important for creators, right? Especially like YouTube and stuff like that. And then on top of that, what you have is something called a CTR, or click through rate, which is how many times people click on your content. Thank you, Scott. I really appreciate that. Like, truly, I really do. Thank you. Which is how many times people click on that content when they're showed it. So if your click through rate is bad, you know that the content that you're producing isn't popular, right? If your impressions are bad, that means that the social media content is not being pushed out to even find out if somebody likes it, right? So Pac-Man did a whole video on
insane
on how their impressions actually went. His impressions went like they cut like 35-40% off of his impressions, like starting in April. He has a whole video about it. If you guys follow David Pac-Man, you can see it. Now, granted, his impressions are significantly higher than someone like me. He went from like 15 million impressions down to like 10 million impressions, but that's significant when it comes to viewership, right? That's a 30% decrease in impressions, right? And usually your impressions go down when your click-through rate goes down. But my click-through rate for my content, like on YouTube, has actually gone up since then, which is crazy. So like when people are shown my content, they click on it on a higher rate since April, like since then than they did before, but I'm still getting less impressions, which means that people like places like YouTube, places like TikTok are just not showing my content, even no matter how popular it is. Yeah. So that's why, guys, I like I said, I appreciate your guys's like input and what you guys are like saying, like, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. Guys, trust me, I know all about my statistics and everything for my content. And it just is what it is. But it's something almost like refreshing about that, when you're like, okay, I'm not doing anything wrong, it's just doing it to me. And from there you can kind of just do what you love. You know what I'm saying? What I really want to do, what I really love, and what I really want to do is I want to go out and I want to do on the ground content. That's what I really, really, truly want to do. And that's what I'm going to get to start doing a lot more of soon, due to that. So yeah, I think that's really awesome. Elmira, sorry, Elmira, thank you so much for the Unk Alert, even though I take offense to that. Iris, thank you so much for the stay hydrated. VJ, thank you for, and BC, thank you so much for all the stars. I really, really appreciate that. Also for the gold coin. Ant, thank you so much for the floating hearts. Shay, thank you so much over there for those money guns. I saw another Unk Alert. Forget y'all. I don't even like y'all. VJ, thank you again. Zoe, thank you so much. God, there's so many of them. Thank you guys so much for all those jewels. I really, really do appreciate it. Omar, thank you so much for the thumbs up. Light Mocha, thank you so much for the 10. Said, okay, morning shows are full, but gonna fit you in. Paulie, keep growing, brother. Thank you so much, dude. I really appreciate that. Even if you guys only get, get to stop in and say hi for the morning show for a half hour or so, while we're talking about stuff, it really, really does go a lot, especially when you can get there early. Really, 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 really appreciate that. So thank you so much. I really do. WC chat for Light Mocha for that. And Chris, thank you so much for the 10 also. Said took a long break from politics, but you've been my favorite. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Chris. That's very sweet. I'm glad I can still try to be somewhat to be a little more than politics. A little bit more in politics. And again, like I said, y'all doing stuff like listening to the podcast. Again, I have great interviews with people that you're not hearing on YouTube, people that you're not hearing on TikTok, that are coming out in podcast episodes starting this week. So, you guys are gonna go listen to those podcasts if they pop up on your Spotify or wherever. Go check it out. And I'm telling you, if you guys like my debate content, you're going to love the podcast episode this week. The one that's going to release on Friday at 7. You guys are gonna like it. Okay, if you like my debate content, I promise you my podcast episode on that will be out this Friday, okay? I am talking to a guy named Paul Darling. He is a nuclear expert. He is a retired Army lieutenant colonel. And we talk Iran and what the Trump administration is doing right, what the Trump administration is doing wrong. We have some disagreements on things like whose fault it was for the pullout of Afghanistan. We have some arguments about whether Donald Trump is doing really poorly at this war, or whether he had no choice. So it gets a little heated. It gets a little heated in this podcast. So if you like my debate content, I'm telling you, you're going to like this episode. That is a promise. It is like my debate content if the person I was talking to was intelligent. You guys are so used to seeing me debate fucking troglodytes. Okay? You guys are so used to me fucking debating troglodytes. Okay? If you want to hear me actually debate intelligent people, the next 2 weeks of the podcast. So this week it'll be Paul Darling. We're going to talk war. And the next one we're going to talk economics. Where I have someone argue to me that, and this is not a joke, I'm trying to give you guys a little teaser for the podcast, okay? Argues to me that socialism and fascism are the exact same thing. Okay? So, and that's with a doctor and professor of economics and mathematics. The name of the podcast is the Polypolitics Podcast. If you go into my link tree that's in my bio, it will connect you to almost anywhere you can listen to it. Trumplodites. I like that. Trumplodites. So anyways, go check it out, guys. Like I said, if you guys like my debate content, you're really going to like it. All right? If you guys like my debate content, you're really going to like it. And I'm also going to be doing interviews. Dude, I got interviews lined up with New York Times bestsellers, Amazon bestsellers. It's going to be really, really, really good stuff. So you guys aren't going to want to miss it. You guys aren't going to want to miss it. I promise you that. Oh, I'm sorry, John. Yeah, you can get to it. So you can type in wherever you listen to it. If you're on Spotify, if you're on YouTube, if you're on uh Apple Podcasts, you can type in the Polypolitics podcast and it'll show up. You'll see a picture that looks just like my symbol. Magladites, I like that too. Magladites, I like that too. What do you talk about on there? Well, the last few episodes have been some current events, and I've been lending that. It's been like some current event stuff, and then it went into like interviews with like some people that are running for Congress this year. It's kind of changing this week. I'm telling you, it's kind of changing to a little bit more, like I said, people coming on that either agree with me or disagree with me, but it's like almost like it's a big like long one-on-one conversation, and we're getting some very interesting topics with some disagreement in there. I'm telling you, I'm not saying it gets like blow up heated, but it gets heated. I promise you that. Are you able to call in from Brazil? Yeah, I mean, if you can call the number, you can call the number. Are you on Spotify? Yes, I'm on Spotify. Yep, sure am. The Polypolitics podcast. Easy stuff. Easy stuff. BC, thank you so much for the Argentina. Keisha, thank you so much for the park the bus. Oh, that's a big one. Thank you so much, Keisha. I really appreciate that. And Sharon, all right, light this fucking thing up with W's for Sharon. Light this fucking thing up for the $130 over on Venmo from Sharon. Thank you so much. Huge W's in the chat for Sharon for that. Says, goal met. You have my support 100%. Thank you so much. You have no idea how much that means. Like Ari can attest. Man, I'm working my ass off here, and it's not really going as far as I want it to right now. So thank you for Sharon and for all of y'all. Thanks, Shay. I appreciate you. For all of y'all that like are continuing to support me, that watch my content, that listen to my content, that click on it. It is not remiss on me that I still get, this podcast overall is brand new and getting, 800 views, a week, 800 views a week. And it may not be where I quite want it to be yet, but that is a lot better than a lot of people do on their podcast when they're first starting out. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. You have no idea. Like that's going directly to pay for bills for this podcast to keep going. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Truthfully, that's going straight to bills to help make sure the lights stay on. You have no idea. I told people like threaten to sue me, and I'm like, for what? You ain't getting nothing out of me at this point. If I can get 5,000 views a week, then I can start trying to get sponsors, and then this whole dynamic changes. So that's the goal. Huge W's. Thank you so much, Shay. I really appreciate that. That is absolutely amazing and honestly awesome. And you have a name that's very close to my heart, because that's my mom. That's my mom's name. So I really appreciate that. All right, let's see what you want. Hello, how are you?
Hi, how's it going?
It's going just peachy.
I'm glad to hear.
Yeah, just peachy.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, how's it going with you?
It's going well. I can't complain.
Is it also going peachy with you?
Yeah, I'd say that.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, Sharon's my mom's name. Yeah. Um, awesome. So, what's up?
Yeah, I just saw the prompt, so I
No,
figured I'd come up and
don't
talk.
cough too hard, man. We don't want you dying on us.
Try not to.
Yeah, you smoker?
Not like cigarettes, no.
Oh, okay. Just asking. It shouldn't get rough, man. Anyways, so instead of dying, so what's on your mind? Do you still support Trump?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you just have two options. You got to pick one, and
No, you don't.
I'd
There's
rather
no
have that
option.
than the other guy.
Nope. You only have two options right now. One is to support Trump, and the other one is to not support Trump. Those are your only two options.
Well, like for instance, when the election comes up, right? We'll have two options.
Yeah. When the election comes up, we'll have two options, and when aliens come over and take over this world, then I don't have to do this anymore. I assume I'll be being probed someplace, unfortunately. But that's not right now. Right now, you have the options of support Trump or don't support Trump. And if you're choosing between those two options, and the option that you're choosing is to support Trump, then I'd like to know why.
Well, I mean, I think he's a politician, so I support some of the things that he does, and the things that he does, I'm not a big fan of.
Awesome, but you're obviously saying that the things that he is doing that you're in support of outweigh the things that he's doing that you're not in support of, right?
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right. So why don't you give me something that you are not in support of?
Of Trump,
Yeah.
I think that he is a corrupt politician in terms of like enriching himself via presidency.
Yeah. Just to let you know, weird starting point. Okay, in my opinion. The reason why that's a weird starting point to me is because if there's a corrupt politician, right?
Hmm.
That should already be the line. You know what I'm saying? That should already be the spot where you're like, yeah, I don't support this guy because he's a corrupt politician. So like, I don't know why you would choose to support a corrupt politician for what?
Well, I think the more that I have gotten into politics and the longer that I've followed it, the more that I have basically come to the conclusion that, and I know this may sound kind of crazy, but I think that ultimately most people will come to this conclusion if they follow politics long enough. It's basically two parties. Maybe they're the same party, but for the sake of argument, there's two parties and they're both criminal. It's basically like which mafia is going to run the country, right? So they're all corrupt.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying, sir. I'm not asking you to choose Democrats. I'm asking you why you
I could
support
just not
Donald Trump.
vote.
You could. You could
Sure.
you could choose to not support Donald Trump. But you're choosing to support Donald Trump. And the reason for that, and you said he's corrupt, and you're saying, well, they're all corrupt. Well, then you should not support any of the corrupt ones, right? Because there are people that have ran for office and people that hold office that are not corrupt. So you're still choosing to support somebody that is corrupt, which I find just astonishing.
Well, I think that when you think about like individually, for instance, like right now, we're in the middle of his term, so I can't do anything to prevent him from being president. But when the election seasons happen, right, you get to pick. And ultimately, the real reality of this, and I know that technically something else could happen, but the reality is that the Democrat or the Republicans get a win. And so probably the most amount of say that you have in this democracy is literally just choosing whichever you feel is the lesser of two evils. And so that's how that works. But not voting is like just not,
So
I
first
have
of
to
all,
pick something, right?
well, so first of all, there's tons of stuff you can do right now. So that's automatically inaccurate, right? So
Yeah, I don't
there's
want to
tons
go to
of stuff.
jail. I just want to live my life. I don't want to do
Well,
anything
no,
that
you
is
you
like
don't.
up.
You want to talk about it. Like, I mean, you obviously have enough support for Donald Trump, where you found the need to go get up on a live and talk about how you want to support him. So you don't just want to live your life. Because I do have lots of friends like that are
Also
straight
just
up
said he's
like,
corrupt. So
well, yeah. Well, I have tons of friends that like, the people that I know that really truly don't care about politics. They stay completely out of
same.
politics. They don't really talk about politics. And those guys, usually make a lot of mistakes. They don't understand anything. But you're not saying that. You're saying, I want to be engaged in politics. I know the guy that I support is corrupt and I support him anyway. And that's just wild to me. Second of all,
Engaged so far as
hold
voting.
on, sir.
And
Hold on,
outside of
sir.
that,
Hold
it's
on, sir.
pretty
Second of
tiny.
all, yes, there's a lot of politicians that are corrupt. I'm not saying that they're not, especially if you look at the 250-year history of the United States. But there's also a ton of politicians that aren't. So you can't just say, oh, it's all of them. That's not true. And even if you do say that, right, there are levels to that corruption, right? And there's incredible levels to that corruption, right? I don't think that anybody would say, well, I mean, do you disagree?
Well, no, it's just kind of funny because like you're essentially kind of going down the line of logic of like, well, there's actually levels to corruption, and
There
so what
is.
you should do is you should take the
I'm not
lesser
telling
of
you
two
what you should
evils
do.
in terms of the corruption. And I'm kind of
I
in a different
Well, you didn't let me
scale,
finish
but
my
it's the same
statement,
idea.
so you kind of like cut me off to try to tell me what I felt about it. So how about just give me a second, and then you can respond to how I actually feel about it.
Well, I mean, based on what you were saying,
No,
it
no, you
was
cut me
pretty
off to tell
implicitly
me what
implied that you were
I felt
doing that.
about you, what you should do, and I wasn't saying anything even near that.
No, I was just talking about what you literally were talking about.
Sir, you do realize that in the English language, we're allowed to gain context from more than the direct words that are in a sentence, right? So if I say a
Yeah.
sentence, I then can elaborate on that sentence and then give you more information, which changes the context of that sentence, right?
Yeah, but it doesn't change
Okay,
the fact
so
that
if I
you're pointing
say a
out
part of a
different levels
sentence
of
and then I'm in the
corruption.
middle of giving you the context of that sentence, but then you cut me off to question me about that sentence, then you don't have a full understanding of what I just said.
I mean, we can get back to this in a second. Go ahead and finish.
Oh, I really appreciate that, right? So what I was saying was that there are levels of this, right? I don't think that many people would compare, like what Nixon did to the levels of, of corruption of, presidents that we generally forget about, right? I don't think that we can compare what Donald Trump is doing to even what recent presidents that we would even consider corrupt have done, right? Like if you look at Donald Trump and you look at the corruption that he's, doing with everything from Saudi Arabia to Qatar to Apple to big oil to suing the IRS to trying to create slush funds. We don't even compare that to the corruption that happened under, George Bush. And that was a whole other level of corruption when it came to like starting wars and looking for oil and all that sort of stuff, right? But even those two aren't in comparison. But I'm going to easily say that I don't support any politician, period, that has any level of provable corruption, right? And that's just not something that we're going to talk about just made up or just, that we can think or maybe try to extrapolate off of very weak data. I 100% believe that if there's no provable data that somebody is committing corruption, then I'm not going to worry about it. But if there is, then I'm not going to support them, period. And that's regardless of party.
Sure. Well, I mean, so this is kind of the difference in how we think about this, right? Like, hang on a second. Like with corruption and with the different levels of it and stuff like that, I don't really consider that because I just think about like the reason and logic behind politics. For instance, I used to think that just average people like wake up one day and go, I want to make my community better. I'm going to want to get elected, yada, yada, yada. And then when you really look into the political process, you find that generally what's happening is companies and corporations, they are very interested in even local spots in politics. And so the vast majority of people in politics are there at the behest of a corporation or of somebody. So it's not like a bunch of like do-gooders doing this. And then the other thing too is like, for instance, for anyone to rise to the level like Donald Trump, who's not been into politics, and there's plenty of other people like this too. These people, they just spend enough money to become powerful. Look at the election with Massey. Look at Trump's election. When I can definitively look at the last 5 years in politics and say the people who spend the most money win the election, I know that this is all corrupt, and all of these people are
No,
involved, and it's all
that's
dirty.
not
And anybody
corruption.
who
That
still believes that this is like good versus evil shit is like literally
oh,
just a kid.
hold on. You're now confusing our bad election laws with individual corruption.
No, I'm talking about donating money to campaigns and then those
Right, that's our
campaigns
laws.
like winning every time.
No, so that's our laws, right? So what you're saying is we need to get money out of politics.
Yeah.
That I 100%
Yeah,
agree
the
with you on.
politicians
Hold
who
on,
are in
hold
there
on,
who
hold on,
handle
sir,
the
hold on, sir.
laws.
Hold on,
That's
sir.
the law.
Sir,
That's the whole point, dude.
sir,
Holy shit.
sir. No, you're not listening. Citizens United was done like 40 years ago, bud. You know that, right? Most of the people that passed Citizens United, they're not still in politics, so they're not the ones that passed that, right?
No, you are totally missing the point here, brother. Like your
you're
defense
totally
to
missing
this
the point.
is
You're not
basically
listening
saying
to
like,
anything
okay,
I'm
well,
saying because you're
well,
up here to because
all
you're up
you
here
need
to
to
talk
do is
because
change
you're
the
up here
laws
to
to not
talk
allow this.
because
The
you're up
reason
here
that
to
that's not
talk and you're
happening
not
yet-
up here to listen. Okay? See, I'm sitting here listening to what you're saying. Okay? And then I am responding to what you're saying. But then as soon as I try to say anything back to what you're saying, then you start going off on a diatribe, and half the time it's not even addressing what I'm saying. Okay? Because you're not here to actually have a conversation. You're here to try to talk, right? Which is just completely bad faith. You have confused the difference, all right, between Donald Trump getting a literal gold reason, confusing that with there is a problem within our system in which money is required in order to win office. Those are two completely different problems because every single politician is affected by the fact that our election system is broken and you need money to run for office. That is a dead fact across the board. That is a broken system. But there are certain people that are operating within that system, within that legal system, and there's other people that are in violation of the Constitution, in violation of the Emoluments Clause, in order to freaking perpetuate actual corruption. And those two things are different.
Okay. Like you're kind of making this out to be like, well, like there is corruption, but it's not maybe as widespread or as big of an issue or as broad as I kind of
Not
claimed
what I'm
that it
saying
was
at all.
earlier. So you actually do think that the corruption is as much as I think it is.
Not what I said. I didn't say whether I agreed with you or disagreed with you. I never said that.
Well, do you agree?
Do I agree with what?
Do you think that there is a massive amount of corruption in terms of our politics, particularly on the
Define
federal level?
massive.
Like, okay, when I say massive, I mean that in terms of the elected officials, the people that we're seeing on TV, and the people who are doing the votes in Congress, I'm going to say that if you think that the fraud is massive, we would say that over 33% of the people are maybe not acting in good faith or bought out by other people.
Well, again, hold on. You're saying two different things. And that's where I'm getting confusion, right? You're saying, are they bought out? Yes, almost every politician is bought out because they have to be in order to win elections. The way our election system is built is that if you're not bought out, you're not winning. So if you're saying that somebody is in Congress, they are 80% bought out.
Okay.
That's just what you need in order to win elections. Okay. But there's a difference between
so
that.
it's a prerequisite that they're all corrupt in order
but that's
to
not,
elect.
sir, that's not corruption. Why is being bought out corruption?
Why is it corruption when politicians are bought out? Well, you understand the dynamic between the politician and the company, correct?
Very much so.
Okay, explain the dynamic.
You talking about the dynamic as far as if you give money, then there may be a quid pro quo down the line that may result in bills?
Okay, so the first thing that you say between the relationship between companies and politicians is you say it's corruption.
There may be.
There might be some corruption.
There might be.
There could be. Maybe
there
a little bit.
might be. But you see how there's a difference between there may be.
Okay,
and
what's
there
the other
is.
part of the relationship?
Okay,
Like, why do they want to donate
part of the
10 or
relationship
20?
is that the bills that they pass in Congress directly affect those businesses. And they can also regulate, and they also have spent many of time, and there's plenty of politicians that have regulated those businesses where those businesses have suffered at the same point.
Right. In the middle of that, there might be a little quid pro quo, maybe.
Why
just
are
a
we
little.
talking about might, sir? When I'm talking about Donald Trump, we're not talking about might. We're not
Well, I'm
talking
talking about
we're not
actually the
talking
entire
about
political
maybe.
process
Let
because
me give you an example.
my framework here is that I think
maybe I
if
can make this
all
very black and white, because you seem to be wanting to go into a lot
okay.
of mights, a lot of maybes, a lot of ifs, ands, buts, and a lot of everything except for anything that you actually have proof on. So let me see if I can make this like super black and white for you, okay?
Sure.
Sure, awesome. Can you please show me the provable corruption that happened with Kamala Harris?
Provable corruption with Kamala Harris. Well,
Please.
I mean, yeah, she's got some scandals as the AG in California that are pretty
Okay, like
concerning.
what? Name them.
Do you want me to Google them right now?
Well, I mean, if you've said that you 100% voted for
Yeah,
supported Trump,
I'm pretty sure
then
that
I would
she's saying
assume
publicly
if you
that she
already
doesn't think people should go to
sorry,
jail for
I
weed. She's also like
I
signing
apologize.
warrants for these people
Sorry.
to go to jail.
This was on me. Okay, this was on me. I assumed that if you say you supported Trump
Okay.
and that you said that you know Donald Trump is corrupt, right? And that you don't support, that the whole point was that every politician is corrupt, then you would automatically have the corruption stuff with Kamala Harris. I didn't think that you would need to be looking that up now. I assumed if you cast a vote between two people and one of them, you by your own admission, is corrupt, I didn't think that you would have to go look up the corruption a year and a half later on the other one.
Okay. Well, hang on. So I think I can prove my point actually really easily.
I don't need you to
right?
prove your point. I need you to tell me the
Well,
corruption.
no,
of the
I mean,
Kamala
I'd like to
Harris.
actually contend this with you
I
because
would love to
think
also,
that
but
it
I
makes
would
my point.
actually very much like, before we move on, for you to tell me the corruption things that have happened with Kamala Harris.
Okay, like I said, in order to, actually, what you were saying earlier, you have to let me speak. So, for instance, when we talk about
100%, I
government
will
corruption and we talk
100%
about
let you
Kamala
speak,
Harris,
but you're not
Yeah.
speaking right now. You're trying to pivot, and I'm not going to let you do that.
Okay.
You said, okay, that Donald Trump was corrupt. You said you still support him, and the reason is because they're all corrupt. So now I am
Yeah.
waiting on your response on what are the corrupt things that Kamala Harris did. And what I think you're doing right now is
what is the political party she's
what I
associated
think you're
with?
trying to do right now is try and delay because you don't know any.
No, I do. Okay, so watch this. This is really easy. Here, I'll do it in like 5 seconds. Okay, who is the who is Kamala Harris running as? What political party?
Do political parties run for office, or do
Yep.
people
Well,
run
no,
for office?
but they're backed. They're backed by their committees, right? So the DNC,
Not all
for
of them,
instance,
no.
backs the Democrats.
Not all of them, no.
Did the DNC back Kamala Harris?
Yes.
Is the DNC corrupt?
It has been at times, yeah.
Yeah, there it is, buddy. That's the
No,
answer.
that wasn't that. Hold on.
A
hold on,
very
hold on.
corrupt
Sorry.
organization,
I'm sorry.
a political machine,
I'm
ran
sorry.
her
You
as
may
their
have misheard
person.
me.
So yes,
You
obviously
may have
she is
misheard
corrupt,
me.
even if
Maybe
it's
you
not been
misheard me. Maybe you
proven
misheard
in
me.
a court of
Did
law
I
or something
say-
like that.
did
I
I
mean, you
say
cannot be
yes?
this
Hold on.
foolish
Hold on. Did I
to
say
be this
yes?
naive.
I'm sorry. Did I say yes?
No, but you're going to defend this, and you
Awesome.
just admitted
So,
you're like, yeah, the
no,
DNC's been
that's really
corrupt
great.
before.
I
So they
really,
run this
I really
politician.
appreciate
The,
that.
the politician,
really,
they can't be corrupt. There's no way.
really
Like,
appreciate
how dense
that.
are you?
No, thank you so much for saying that. So, what we're going to do is we're going to return to the previous question, which you're still trying to do.
Yeah, you're going to pivot away from this because
no,
you
we're
cannot
not pivoting
contend
on
against
shit,
that.
sir.
You said
We're
prove
staying
Kamala
right
Harris
where
is
we're at.
corrupt.
Give
And
me
a little bit of reason and logic
one
there. That easy.
corrupt thing that Kamala Harris did.
She took money from the DNC.
Is that illegal?
That's a corrupt organization that everybody knows is corrupt.
That
so yeah, if they're
illegal?
giving her money, I'm sure there's something going on there.
Yeah, sir. When I said it was corrupt, I meant back when they used to be conservatives.
Sure, whatever you mean.
I know. So, anyways,
Yeah. If you think the DNC is just like totally plain,
here's what we've
like,
gotten down
on.
to, and this is why.
That's like thinking the Republican
This
committee
is why
totally
your
plain.
entire argument has fallen apart. Okay, how about this?
Well, my argument is that it's all corrupt.
I'll even give you an out right here. Okay, give me one provable corrupt thing that the Democratic Party's done.
Have you ever heard of who Nancy Pelosi is?
Nancy Pelosi is not the Democratic Party. I said, give me one.
What position did she hold?
That the Democratic
What position
in the
did
Democratic
she hold for how
Party,
long?
she did not hold one. She did not hold a position in the Democratic Party.
Really? She wasn't a Democrat politician?
I didn't say that. You said what position did she hold in the party, and she didn't hold one.
Okay, so you're doing the thing where you're saying
So what
the
you're doing? So
politicians
let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. Hold on. Let me get this straight. So gotcha. So
everyone can see what you're doing.
yeah, no, I'm going to explain it to everybody. Okay.
This is why the podcast.
All right. Talk over me again, and
This
I'm
is why
dropping you. Talk over me again, and I'm dropping you. Because you're scrambling right now because you're lost. Okay. So I'm just going to break this down to show how dumb you really sound right now. Okay. So Donald Trump accepted money from Qatar, from Saudi Arabia, from Apple, from big oil, has literally sued the US government to put American tax dollars in his own pocket, tried to use American tax dollars to do a slush fund for January Sixers, has literally been found, right, to defraud a children's cancer charity, right? Take money from children with cancer to put in his own pocket, all right? Those are just some random corrupt things that Donald Trump has done recently. Just recently. Not to mention his crypto coin, his stable coin, right? Like his meme coin that he pulled the rug out from everybody. His stable coin, which is literally foreign investors directly investing, all right, into his stuff, where he's, defrauded the U.S. taxpayer by having like the Secret Service stay in his hotels while upcharging it, right? These are all just random things that Donald Trump himself has done, okay? Just recently. That's not including his watch, his freaking Bibles, and all the other grifting stuff he's done. So I can name like a dozen things that Donald Trump has done corrupt. And when I ask you, and Donald Trump, not who Donald Trump is associated with, not things that you can play connect the dots 8 ways down the road, all right, to find that he did corrupt, direct things that he's done corrupt, right? And your argument to that on why you support Donald Trump over Kamala Harris is because Kamala Harris was backed by the Democratic Party and Nancy Pelosi is also a Democrat. And so therefore she's also corrupt. Did I get all of that correct?
No.
Oh, okay. Please correct the part where I'm wrong.
Yeah. So one, when we first started the conversation, I am the one who actually pointed out
about
that
the direct part that I just talked about.
I am responding. You made multiple points.
Can you directly respond? Because you have shown
I'm trying.
that you have no ability to actually directly respond to anything that I've said. And now I'm treating you as hostile. So please directly respond to what I said.
Okay. So in the beginning, you started to talk about Donald Trump and his corruption and all of the allegations. In the very beginning of our conversation, I am the one who pointed out that I think that Trump is corrupt and that he is enriching himself and that I do not like that. Okay. So
my questioning was why you support somebody that you know is corrupt.
Yeah.
Right? Over somebody that you have no proof is corrupt, which is what brought us to my direct timeline that we just talked about, right? About how, and which you have not been able to say one direct thing that Kamala Harris has done that is actually corrupt. And that's how we got to here. So back to the part of the conversation that we were talking about. Can you please explain to me how I messed up in your actual direct logic of what you were saying?
Yeah. So you're missing one of the things that my framing of this situation, I've tried to make clear multiple times. They're all corrupt. They're all corrupt by default. Right? They're all corrupt by default because the system in itself requires that they be corrupt, which is something that you actually said earlier in the conversation. You said it required that they're bought in order to be elected, which is corrupt.
What I said, but
they're bought by someone else. So this is not a really free and fair system.
But I'm not talking about Donald Trump being given campaign dollars in order to make run a campaign.
Hang on. And the last point of this,
you haven't
the last point of this is you're asking me about Kamala Harris.
Wow.
And the DNC.
Okay.
And I think that anybody with a brain knows that the DNC is a political machine. And I think that if you can point to the most prominent Democrats in politics who are closely associated with the DNC, if you can see that they're all corrupt, then I don't know how anybody can sit here and defend all this and go,
who's the most
actually Kamala Harris is probably clean and we should believe everything that she's great about.
So who's the most prominent Democrat in the DNC?
Well, Nancy Pelosi's up there for a while.
Nancy Pelosi is
like
literally like out the door, doesn't hold a single position in the House. I don't even think she's on a committee and about to retire. So she's definitely not the most prominent. So can you please tell me who the most prominent?
What wasn't she like the House leader or the Senate leader of the
Sir,
Democrats?
Do you not understand that right now exists?
Yeah, how long has she been in there?
Okay, perfect. Can you please tell me who the most prominent Democrat is right now?
I don't know if there's a most prominent one, but I mean, why don't we talk about Nancy Pelosi? You seem to be very afraid to get into that conversation.
Why don't you give me anybody that's ever held a position in the Democratic Party that's not Nancy Pelosi?
Yeah, and this is kind of funny, right? So it's like you would get into Trump and all the allegations.
You're right.
As soon as even the name Nancy Pelosi comes up, you literally are like, "How about someone else?"
I have no problem.
You can't even defend it.
I have no problem debating Nancy Pelosi. It's actually super simple. Like,
Go ahead
so
then.
easy. No, but I want to debate the point that we're at, and
Well, you
then
don't
we
get
can
to
debate
pick.
Oh, I don't get to
I brought
pick
up
what
Nancy Pelosi.
I
You
don't
don't
get
get to
pick.
say, well, we're just
So
not
let
going
me
to
ask you.
talk
So
about
let me
that.
get this. So let me get this straight. Let me get this straight. I ask you to name a current prominent Democrat.
Nancy Pelosi.
You name somebody.
And then
who
you said
is
name
not-
another one.
You said no. You name someone who's not.
Yeah,
a
that's
prominent
exactly what you did. I said Nancy.
Shut the fuck up. So
Well,
you
you're
name
getting
somebody
insecure.
who is not prominent, and then I'm supposed to respond by you picking somebody that's not prominent, who is not even holding a position in the Democratic Party, who is not holding a major part in any of our Congress. So let me get this straight. So you name somebody that doesn't fit under my qualifications, and now I'm running because I'm getting you to actually name somebody that actually fits within the qualifications. So you name somebody irrelevant, and I'm running because of that. Fine, cool. How about this? I'm going to give you exactly 30 seconds, okay, to give me tangible proof that Nancy Pelosi is corrupt. Now, let me be clear, because I want to make sure that I say tangible, because you're not going to say something that's tangible, right? Because I don't give a shit about Nancy Pelosi. I could give a shit if she was, I honestly can't stand half the shit that she did, if you want me to be completely honest. She's not my type of politician whatsoever. I think she's too old. I think she's been in there for too long. I think that, I think all sorts of stuff. I think that she's pushed policy that I don't really like. I'm not a fan of Nancy Pelosi. I want you to give me tangible as evidence, okay, that she's done something corrupt. And I want to be very clear that when I say tangible evidence, you saying, well, she made a lot of money through stock trades when her husband's an investment banker and was before she was ever in Congress. She made a lot of money is not tangible evidence. So please go ahead and give me your tangible evidence on Nancy Pelosi.
Yeah, well, there's actually multiple examples, but the one that I remember the best is the Visa example, where her and her husband and his firm or whatever, they were actually selected to be able to participate in buying, I believe it was some form of stocks at their IPO. Now, it was obviously known that the stock is going to go up, and Nancy Pelosi is also in office. And I believe she was also sitting on like the banking committee of the House. So she's like one of the people who are very, very, very aware of what's going on in the economic system. Her husband ends up buying or getting a ton of these shares, and they absolutely cash out and make a ton of money. And I think that this is obvious corruption, because this is a public official who is involved in the litigation around these companies,
I don't want to go
deciding
here
whether
right
or not they can
So
go and
where's
do an
your
IPO.
tangible proof, okay, that what you just said happened?
So I want you to take your hands and put them on the keyboard in front of you.
Gladly. Let's put them up there.
Go ahead.
What would you like me to type up?
Nancy Pelosi.
Nancy Pelosi.
Stock. Scandal. IPO.
First thing that pops up, the stock scandal has nothing to do with Nancy Pelosi. Literally, the second it pops up in March 2008, during a massive $17.9 billion Visa IPO, Paul Pelosi bought $5,000 shares at the initial public offering of $44 a share. Because IPO shares are generally offered to institutional investors and ultra wealthy clients by underwriters, critics allege this was politically motivated allocation, especially since credit card legislation opposed by Visa was moving through the House at the time. In response, the representatives and financial observers noted the purchase was perfectly legal for private citizens. Underwriters not for Visa or Congress have the discretion to get discretion of who gets these shares in the IPO. Mr. Pelosi did not flip the stock for a quick overnight profit, but instead held to the bulk of these shares long term, investing millions in the price.
Yep. So do you know what insider trading is?
Very aware. So you just gave me something you told me to Google.
So if you know information that's not publicly...
Shh.
Oh, you're
so you told me... Shh. So you told me that you had tangible proof, right, of corruption by Nancy Pelosi, and what you gave me was an allegation, and that's all. So no tangible proof. Did I get that correct?
Well, actually, really no, because I think the majority of Americans would actually agree with me when I
I think that's
say that
there's a certain
situation,
amount of
even though
Americans that
it's
believe the Earth
technically
is flat.
legal, it's
There's a
absolutely
whole bunch
corruption.
of people in American that
It's
agree on a whole
legal
bunch of stuff
corruption.
that's not true. So for a long time, people thought the
The
Earth was flat.
louder
And for
you
a
talk.
long time, people thought that freaking that Zeus was God and all sorts of stuff, sir.
Okay.
But what I asked for again, sir, and maybe you don't understand what the word
Just
tangible.
answer the question.
Do you know what the word tangible means, sir?
Yeah, just answer the question though.
No, I'm not answering any question, sir. Do you know what the word tangible means?
It's the argument.
Yeah, the argument is, do you know what the word tangible means?
Do you think that that's...
Nope, that's not what I heard. Sir, yes or no, do you know
You
what
won't
the word
hear it
tangible
because you
means?
know the answer.
Do you know what the word tangible means?
Yes.
All right, define it.
I don't have the textbook definition.
That's
on
okay.
me.
I'll take the non-textbook definition.
You just give me yours. Go ahead.
No, I'm good. Define it.
You're obviously wanting to prove a point, so go ahead.
No. Yeah, my point is that you don't know what the word tangible means.
Sure. I mean, let me ask you this. So
Nope.
if you're asking,
what
how would I
the
give
word
you
tangible mean?
How would I give you something tangible over the internet, dumbass?
Yeah, you know how many
How do you
research
not
studies,
understand?
court cases. There's literally a
Look up the
ton of
definition of
tangible evidence that
Look it up. What does it say?
It's really not. Won't you go
What's
look
the
it up? You don't know
definition
what
of
it is,
tangible?
sir. Sir, I know you're trying so hard to give
What's
me,
the definition?
I understand that you are trying so hard
You
to get
don't
me
even...
to define it for you because you
don't know the
don't know what it is. Okay, I totally understand. Okay, and this is why you're crashing out. But anyways, what's actually happening right now, and it's very, very simple. Okay, and I honestly, truthfully, I almost feel sorry for you. It's kind of sad. You can't name a singular thing that Kamala Harris did that was corrupt. Okay, you can't figure it out. So the only way that you can try to find that Kamala Harris, that Kamala Harris is corrupt, is by saying the Democrats are corrupt, and the Democrats are corrupt because of an allegation of somebody that nobody gives a shit about anymore. That literally does not matter in our political scene whatsoever. Your entire stance on why Kamala Harris was corrupt is because she's connected to a Democrat that you don't like. When the truth of the matter is that you knew that Donald Trump was corrupt. You knew it from the get-go that Donald Trump was corrupt. You said so much, right? You said that you knew that Donald Trump was corrupt. And you voted for him knowing that he was corrupt, even though the person that he was running against was not corrupt. Okay? Which shows me that your reason has nothing to do with corruption. You are trying to make this little backdoor freaking comparison of corruption because you have nothing else, all right, to justify your voting in of a freaking felon, okay, of a fucking rapist, okay, of somebody that freaking that bragged about grabbing women by their genitals, that bragged about going into fucking changing rooms of women against their will, that sexualized a 10-year-old, that is currently has us at fucking war, right? Who is currently doing market manipulation against pretty much everything in our entire economic system, who is literally robbing you, me, and everybody else in the United States fucking blind. Okay, not to mention his followers even more. The people that support him, they're getting robbed more than anybody because they're the ones that are out there buying Trump watches and meme coins and freaking stable coins. They're getting robbed more than everybody. Okay, but while the rest of us are just getting robbed, as literally Donald Trump is making so much money, made over $2 billion last year, that now American taxpayers are having to pay off his fucking lawsuit for sexual assault. Literally, U.S. citizens are currently having to pay off Donald Trump's lawsuit for sexual assault. That's how much you, me, and everybody else is getting robbed by this man right now. Getting absolutely robbed by this man right now. And but guys couldn't vote for Kamala Harris because Nancy Pelosi did insider trading. You know what? I'm sure she probably fucking did. I'm sure she probably did insider trading. Well, like a whole bunch of other people. That's why we need to make it illegal for politicians to do insider trading. But you know who complained about that bill when it just came up last year? About politicians doing what politicians doing insider trading. You know who complained the most about it? Okay? You know who complained the most about it? Donald Trump, who specifically said that the laws against insider trading should not exist for him. Donald Trump said the laws against insider trading should not exist for the president. And you want to complain about Nancy Pelosi? Give me a fucking break, dude.
Yeah, crash now, huh?
Yeah, get the fuck off my live. Anyways, you're just a bad faith freaking debater, dude. So bad faith. Oh my God, you're disgusting. Imagine hating black women that much. Imagine hating black women that much that you're like, you know what? I'd rather have a guy rob me fucking blind. I'd rather have someone rob me fucking blind than support a black woman. Nancy Pelosi over there sitting on a fucking beach, drinking Mai Tais, not giving a shit about nobody, and she's just living rent-free in dudes like this heads. Y'all, if you guys are new here, make sure you guys hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. We do morning shows now. We do nighttime debates. We do all sorts of fun stuff. So if you're new here, we really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. If you guys still support Trump, you guys can call in on the number that's above my head. You guys can join the guest request box. We got a person or two that's waiting to come up. So if you like the debate, stay around. We got somebody else coming up real quick. If you like to support the live, I do have over on TikTok, I have live gift goal along with trying to clear the gift gallery over there. So got mustaches, corgis, galaxies, whale divings, meteor showers, all sorts of fun stuff over there. So really, really appreciate you. I don't have a live goal going out because Sharon was nice enough to clear that out. But if you like support, I do have super chats. I put those up in between callers and I read them like I did with this one earlier. I'll just throw it up so you guys see what it looks like. Gifts over on YouTube, all sorts of fun stuff. So yeah, and pay links in the bio. They're all at Polypolitics, where that's on Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, all of those fun things. So love you guys. Thank you guys so much for being here. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Is this me?
It is you. You are you. Congratulations.
Holy shit. I am me.
You are. You're not a.
I caught about immigration.
You're a real boy. All that fun stuff, man.
I'm a real boy.
You are.
Let's do it. Immigration. What's up?
Immigration.
What is your biggest
it is a
disagreement?
thing that happens in the United States. Yep.
Yeah. Well, among other places, yes.
It does. It happens in the United
everywhere.
States.
Why is America
And actually, if you want to
biggest...
actually look at it, the entire reason the United States exists is because of immigration. If you want to be super clear.
Why does everybody want to come to the United States? Why?
Not everybody does.
A lot of people come to the United States. I mean, we're not the biggest country. Why do we have the biggest immigration numbers?
We have the biggest immigration numbers based off of our borders and our large borders with other countries and our immigration laws
borders,
that
right?
I'm sorry.
The open borders, right?
No.
People just come in.
Nope, we haven't had an open border since all the white people immigrated from Europe. Yeah.
I mean, different country back then. People were
it was because we had open
completely
borders.
allowed in because we had a lot of open space. We don't have so much open space now. Things are kind of overpopulated. I mean, maybe in the middle fucking nowhere, yeah. But
well, why don't you? I don't think go to the middle of
American
nowhere. I'm sure people coming from like war-torn countries would love middle of nowhere.
Oh, of course, they're coming from the middle of nowhere to the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right. So
thanks for
getting down to it, my problem is our southern border is very open. We have allowed millions of people in the last 2 decades over our southern border unchecked. Now, people of 100 and I believe it is 117 different countries have come over our southern border unchecked. Are you in agreement with
How have we allowed
people
millions
who,
of people to come over unchecked?
during the Biden administration, there was not nearly as many Border Patrol agents as there are during the Trump administration, and the rhetoric from the Biden administration basically said, "Hey, come, we're not going to stop you,"
What?
versus the Trump
Well, let's be
administration
clear.
that says,
Were there
"Yeah,
more
don't
Border Patrol
come."
agents or less Border Patrol agents from the Biden administration from Donald Trump's first term?
Left. From his first term?
Yeah. See, again, you guys got to learn to listen to the entire statement before speaking. It makes things so much easier. I promise you.
From the first term, I'm not completely sure.
Cool.
But
It was
we're
the same
talking
amount.
about the second term now.
Awesome. That's the same amount.
Current
Second amount.
administration.
Same amount. Okay. So second of all, who approves new border agents?
Definitely Trump.
No. Which part of our government?
Why am I hearing myself right now? What the fuck? Hold on. Let me cancel out YouTube here. Restate your question. I'm sorry.
Which
I was
part
hearing
of the
an echo of
government,
myself.
right, would allow for more Border Patrol agents?
That would be Congress.
Correct. The legislature. Okay. So it's a legislature that decides whether we have more Border Patrol agents or not a president. Okay. Now, was there legislation at the legislature under the Biden administration to add more Border Patrol agents?
Why would we rely on Congress to decide whether or not we have more Border Patrol agents?
Because of the Constitution.
If
now, because of the Constitution.
No.
That's why.
No.
So, was there
Absolutely
legislation in front of the legislature under the Biden administration to add more Border Patrol agents?
If Congress is,
I'm sorry, maybe you're not hearing my question. Maybe I'll keep repeating it if I need to.
You're gonna let me talk.
We
You're gonna let
can
me talk.
No, I'm going to let you answer the question. Was there legislation at Congress under the Biden administration to add more Border Patrol agents?
Are you going to try to say that Republicans opposed more?
I am
Border
literally
Patrol
asking you a
agents?
question that you could answer with a simple yes or no.
I'm not
whenever
going to
you're
fall
choosing
into
to.
your yes or no trap. I'm not going to fall
You're not
into
going to
your. Are you trying
fall
to say that?
into a
Are
simple
you trying
question.
to say that Republicans
This isn't a trap, sir.
oppose
This
more
is just
Border
a
Patrol
question.
agents?
I didn't say anything about that. I literally just asked you if there was legislation in Congress under the Biden administration to add more Border Patrol agents. This is not like a trick question, okay? It sounds like you're really afraid. Are you okay?
Where do you think those Border Patrol agents?
Sir, are you
go?
okay? Are you scared?
Under
Are you
the Biden,
safe?
Under the Biden administration.
Sir, are
do
you
you
safe,
think they're
sir?
going to be out there patrolling
Sir,
the
are
border?
you safe? Are you okay?
I'm 100% okay.
Okay, because
You're
it
like
sounds
trying
like
to
you're
gaslight me right
absolutely
now. It's kinda crazy.
terrified to answer a simple question about the topic that we're talking about. Okay? Are you so
Because you're trying to
afraid
lead
of
me-
engaging in
you're
this
trying to lead me in
conversation
a
with me
direction.
because you don't know anything
You're trying
about
to
it
lead me in a
that you just
direction
won't
with yes or
answer
no
a
questions.
simple question?
Yes, there
Sir,
was
there's no leading, sir. There's no leading you to anything. Sir, here's the funny part, okay? You
Go
think
ahead.
that I'm leading
Yes,
you to somewhere?
Yes, there was
And
legislation.
here's the
Go
crazy
ahead.
part,
Yes.
and I just want to let you know this,
Go
okay?
ahead. Yes.
I just want to let you know this.
I'm answering your question.
You
Yes,
think
go
I'm
ahead.
leading?
Continue.
I'm just gonna explain it to you so you
100%.
understand how this is working.
Not
Okay?
100%.
No, I'm just gonna explain it to you. So you think that I'm leading you
Sure.
to a place where you're gonna be asked a question that makes your
100%
argument fall
political
apart.
bias.
Okay? You think I'm gonna lead you to a
100%.
place where it's gonna make your entire argument sound stupid, right? And you think that by asking you questions, I'm gonna get you there. Okay? Here's what you don't realize is that I already asked the question that made your entire argument look stupid, and you already answered it. I just moved past it because it wasn't a big deal. All right? You already did that part as soon as you said that adding more Border Patrol agents belongs to Congress and not the president. You already made the statement that Donald Trump did not
absolutely
add them. It was
Absolutely.
Congress that
Because-
added them. Okay, so you
Because it is
already
not
made the
Congress's job.
statement
It is
that
not.
all
If Congress is not going to do their job,
See, you're not you're not listening well enough. You're doing
you're
a lot
talking a
of this.
lot.
You're
doing all the interrupting of me. You're
sir,
talking a lot.
I would talk so much less if you would be quiet more. The reason why I have to keep talking is because you're never quiet.
You do nothing.
Okay? My ability to be quiet is completely and 100% based off of your ability to have a genuine conversation.
Be quiet.
Okay? See, like right now I'm talking. I'm just muting you because you won't let me talk. Okay? But you're not even being quiet during this. Okay? So I'm going to go ahead and say what I was saying. So you already proved your point dumb that Congress did it. Okay? Why I was asking you, why Congress, had legislation in front of the Biden administration and they chose not to pass it, but then had legislation to do it in the front of the Trump administration and chose to pass it. I was going to ask you why you thought that was.
Stuff in that bill that added border patrol agents. It wasn't just adding border patrol agents. They coupled a whole ton of stuff, just like Democrats always do. They're like, oh, we'll add border patrol agents, but go ahead.
Sir, what piece of legislation was adding border patrol agents in another Trump administration?
In another Trump administration, it was a executive order.
No. Again, we already got past this part where we talked about how Congress has to do that. So,
okay, well, an executive order did it because Congress was debating over it.
Nope, it was added under budget reconciliation under an entire bill under the Republicans where they had a shit ton of other things in there. Yeah.
A shit ton of other things. Can you name any of those other things that they had in there?
Well, actually, I think that the actual expansion of Border Patrol was actually under the Big Beautiful Bill, which has literally almost every piece of legislation that Donald Trump has, in his entire term in that singular bill. But actually adding Border Patrol actually causes, is because of money. That's the actual issue. And that's the budget reconciliation bill. So that has everything from paying for Medicare and Medicaid funding to Social Security to military budget. It has literally everything.
Well, thank God it passed, right?
Oh, yeah. So thank God it happened when Congress does it under the Trump administration. But, when they deny it under the Biden administration, that's just crazy. So why do you think that they approved it under the Trump administration and they didn't approve it under the Biden administration?
I mean, Biden had a majority of the government control during the 2020 to 2022. Why didn't it happen under the Biden administration?
Because we were under because we were under government shutdown due to COVID, so there wasn't an immigration problem.
Government shutdowns due to COVID. I mean,
yeah, we were under Title 42.
Everybody was too pussy to come to work. Everybody was too pussy to come to work. I worked. I don't know about you. I worked.
Yeah, everybody was so pussy not to die. Wow, they're crazy. Sir, what I said was we were under Title 42. We had a literal shutdown of immigration. Okay? And since we had a literal shutdown of immigration, why would we be adding Border Patrol to a situation where we didn't need Border Patrol at the time?
Because 10,000, 11,000 people were crossing per day.
Not till after Title 42 expired, which was in what year?
2021. I
believe it was 2022, but it might have been 2021. Yeah.
Well, close enough. I mean, immigration numbers went up under Biden. They did.
Yeah.
You can't deny
in 2022, after Title 42 expired, which therefore Congress was bipartisan. And which party stopped the extra Border Patrol agents from being hired?
It was the Democrats.
It was the Republicans. The Democrats voted for it almost unanimously.
Because of the extra things in that bill that the Republicans didn't want to vote for.
The Republicans.
It seems to be.
I'm fighting shadows in your head, screaming truths you never let it.
Shut that off.
At war with what they said, but I'm the one still stepping.
I hated this when it came earlier, but I don't actually hate it right now. It was actually kind of a nice breakup from that guy.
So let me talk
You
for
know,
just a
I actually
second here,
really hated
please.
that earlier, but that
I
was actually
respect you.
like, yeah, that was actually really good timing on this. On this, don't keep doing
I,
it, but that was kind of nice on that one.
let me talk for a minute, and let me just first of all say that I respect you. This is a heated conversation, but this is what our country is about. So let me first say that I do not hate immigrants. I'm a white, straight male, and I'm dating a Mexican immigrant who is currently waiting outside this country for a visa. And it's been a year and a half, and it sucks. We're long distance,
She is
and we're waiting
cheating
on her
on
fiance
you.
visa.
Yeah.
He's what?
She's cheating on you.
No, 100%. I mean
I
that's kind of
one
crazy for you to say.
one
We have an amazing
100%, bro.
relationship.
100%.
We have an amazing. That's a crazy thing for you to say. I mean,
I'm just, dude. I'm
if
sorry. I'm
that's
the
what
first
you're
one to
gonna say,
tell you. Like that's what I feel bad about,
that's what
man.
you're gonna say. That's fine. That
Have you ever
part of
met
this
her?
conversation is 100%. I've met her 5 times. I went down to Mexico. I've experienced what the Mexican culture is like. I'm learning about it. We've talked in depth about what the political climate of what the United States is. So let me just,
Has she
what I was
asked you for
trying to
any
say is I
iTunes
do
gift
not,
cards?
iTunes gift cards. It's crazy. No.
Hmm.
So what I'm trying to say here is I do not hate brown people. She agrees with me on a lot of my immigration standpoints that we need to be tougher on immigration. It's a good thing that immigration numbers are going down, and it's a good thing that it should be
100%.
hard
This
to
is a
immigrate to
scam.
this country.
This is 100% a scam. Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah.
100%. We
100%.
sleep together on video calls every night. Her life revolves
That's
around
the
me.
only time you slept with her, I'm assuming.
Now you're just being disrespectful. Why you got to do that to someone who
I'm
took
not being
time out of their day
disrespectful.
to
I'm
talk
just
with you?
saying
No,
this is a
you're 100%
scam.
being
Like
disrespectful.
this is 100, dude. It's such a scam.
That's kind
Like
of racist of you to assume that.
it's racist
It's
to say
very
that you're getting
racist of you to
scammed. That doesn't even make sense.
100%.
How
Is
could
there
it be
no good
racist to say that
relationships
you're
that come
getting
from a gringo
scammed, bro?
to a Latina?
That's just
Is it
that's just weird, bro.
is it 100% just terrible relationships across the border? Should I be dating a white person and keep the bloodline pure?
I don't
Is
think you
that
should
what
be
you're
dating
saying?
anyone, to be completely honest with you.
Well, I'm going to, and
I know, but you asked what
the
I wanted.
Latina
What
is
I
the love
wanted,
of my
okay,
life, and
like honestly, if you're if you have to be dating somebody, a mail order bride, I guess, is better. But um, I mean, I'd prefer just
you sound so racist,
like
bro. You
nobody,
sound
right?
really
Like I
racist.
think you
Like
sound like a great candidate for like incel. How'd you guys meet?
you sound so racist. Like,
How'd you guys
how
meet?
did you get this way in your heart?
How'd you guys meet?
Facebook dating of all places.
Facebook date. And
Dating,
where do you
and we've been
live?
dating for 2 years. I live, and I'm not gonna disclose that.
It's a
I don't
state,
trust you.
bro.
You
I'm not
sounding
looking
really
for you.
racist so far. Like
What state do you
mail
live
order
in?
bride. You mail order bride. I'm getting scammed. Like that's
Let's
come
see.
on, man. Like, do better. You're being really rude to someone who took time out of their day to discuss
Southeastern New
politics with
York.
you. Southeastern New York.
So
That's where
southeastern
my
New
caller
York.
ID is from.
So you live in
That's where my
southeastern
caller
New
ID is
York.
from.
You live in
That's where my
southeastern
caller
New
ID is
York,
from.
and you
I
Facebook
could be
match with
anywhere.
somebody in who I'm assuming are they in TJ? Is that Tijuana? Is this an
Yeah,
episode
actually
of Love
pretty
Is
close.
Blind?
Pretty close. But I mean, we've been dating
It's
long
Love
distance
Is
for
Blind,
2
guys.
years.
This is the new
She
episode of Love
she
Is Blind. I found love in
she
Tijuana.
agrees. She agrees
I
with
found love in Tijuana, guys.
the
This
immigration
is gonna
law of
be
the
a
United
great
States,
show.
and
This is
she's
gonna be a great show, guys.
got
I'm
many
so
got
excited.
many family
I'm
members
so
in the United
90 Day
States,
Fiance.
some of which are illegal.
90
Yeah,
90
90
Day
Day Fiance.
Fiance.
I haven't heard
That's
that
pretty
joke
cool.
before. Go ahead.
That's
Go
well, yeah. I
ahead.
guess it's a lot more than 90 days now because you said you've been dating her for
Yeah, I mean, we're
like
engaged to
3
be
years,
married.
but Yeah.
You're engaged to be married. She's got a pending fiance visa. She's coming here.
Did you pay for
be
that
with
fiance
me.
visa in iTunes gift cards?
Of course, the sponsor pays for a fiance visa. That's how it works. Are you
Yeah.
unfamiliar with immigration law?
I'm pretty familiar. I'm pretty sure you can't pay for them with iTunes gift cards though.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're being incredibly racist. That's pretty crazy. I thought you
Sir,
guys were the
Sir,
tolerant
where did
side.
at what point did I
thought
mention a
Democrats were
race?
tolerant. iTunes gift card.
At what point did I mention a race, sir? That's what I asked you.
That's a 90-day fiance. That's a racist joke.
Sir, at
It
what
really
point,
is.
Sir, I'm sorry, maybe you're having a hard time hearing me,
Assuming
and that's
my
okay. It's hard.
relationship
Sometimes the
isn't
reception
valid.
in Tijuana is not the best. At what point did I mention a race? Was the question I asked you.
You don't need to mention a race to be racist.
I don't need to mention a race to be racist. It feels like that's a pretty important part of it. I'm not saying you're wrong. I will say that that's probably a
saying I'm a
possibility
candidate
that
for
you
incest.
can be racist.
Saying I'm a
But I
candidate
just thought
for
I'd let you know.
incest, that's kind of
I just thought I'd let
racist.
you know if it's gonna cost. If you need a new girlfriend, my Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, they're all at Polypolitics.
Fiance.
And
Thank you
I'll
very much.
I'll give you a call it. I'll give you a
least I have
call.
one.
I'll talk to you at night for a while. You know what I'm saying? I'll accept the engagement ring.
Have your boyfriend call me. I'm sure he might be better at arguing than you.
Okay, I will.
Yeah. I'm sure you have a boyfriend. I could tell it in the
Yep, sure do.
tonality of your voice.
So what?
100%.
Sir, if I had
So
a
what?
boyfriend, at least I
Exactly.
would know where they were at. Like I wouldn't be getting
I know
scammed on the
exactly
internet.
where my
Okay,
girl is at.
I wouldn't be getting
Exactly where
scammed
my
on the
girl is
internet.
at.
Okay, first of all, okay, I can
You're
definitely
very
pull.
disrespectful.
I can definitely pull
that's
hotter
kinda
men than you
crazy.
can women, and I can pull hotter women than you
thought-
can women. That's what's crazy is I can actually
thought
pull hotter
Republicans were
men
the
and
racist
women than
ones.
you
That's
can.
pretty
Isn't that
crazy.
wild?
I think that's pretty crazy how
I think it's pretty
you
crazy
call
too.
Republicans the
You
racist ones.
should be sad about that.
I should be, huh?
Nobody, don't
You'd
go
like
tell my
me to be,
girlfriend.
but I'm not.
Hey,
But I'm not.
don't you
But I'm
guys go
not.
tell my girlfriend. Okay? She's
Okay, well,
she's
she's
on
at
live
work
right now.
while you're
Don't
on
you guys go
fucking-
tell her.
while you're on,
Okay,
on
how
YouTube Live. She's at
how
work
I'm
right now
how
making the
I'm
money,
how
right?
how
You're
all
very
of this is coming.
profitable,
Yeah.
I'm sure. This business is working out so well for you, arguing with strangers on the internet. I'm sure. You're such a
It's better
tough
than
guy.
dating strangers
Oh,
on the
my.
internet. I'll tell you that much.
Yes,
Arguing with strangers
exactly.
on the internet is so
Love
much
is
better
blind, bro.
than dating
Love is blind.
dating strangers on the
Anywhere in
internet.
the world.
I will tell you that
Anywhere
so
in the
much.
world. Mexico,
Oh my goodness.
Venezuela,
I might
China.
argue with strangers on the internet, but you literally freaking get engaged to them and you're trying to talk shit. That is fucking wild, bro. That is wild. How could you talk
You're gonna
about
judge me over-
you're gonna talk
you're
about
gonna
fucking
judge me
talking to
over
people on
who
the
I
internet
choose
and
to
you
love?
literally are sending iTunes gift cards for
You're gonna
immigration
judge me over
status,
who
bro.
I choose to
You're
love?
getting fucking robbed,
That's
bro. You got a
crazy.
Nigerian prince on the other end of that line. That is fucking crazy,
You're gonna
dude.
judge me over
That's
who
fucking
I choose to
crazy,
love.
bro.
That's pretty racist, man.
But anyways,
I mean,
shouldn't
let's
you
be honest
sir,
here.
you still haven't figured out what a race is, okay? So that's okay.
All right.
But
Well,
anyways,
I
I'm gonna
found
get off
one
the
right
phone with
here.
you because as fun as it is to make fun of
Oh,
you,
you
and trust me, it is
pull
enjoying.
receipt,
I'm bored with you now, okay? I am bored with you now. Okay? I like how a bunch of people in the chat were like, "Oh, you are gay?" And I'm like, "No, I'm not, but it is funny." Electric, Shay, Zazu, thank you so much for the mustache hat and mustaches. There was somebody. Ryan sent me the galaxy earlier. Thank you so much. W's chat for Ryan with the galaxy. Shay sent the fireworks also. Ooh, excuse me. W's the chat for Shay. I guarantee you I pull hotter men and women than him. That's not a question. Okay? That's not a question. Y'all, if you guys are new here, please hit that follow button or hit that subscribe button, depending on which app you're at. I really, really appreciate you guys. We're not done yet, so don't be running off. But also, I'll be on for the news tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Okay? So I'll be on for the news tomorrow at 10 a.m. So check that out if you haven't already. Or if you want to hear the news from today, we talked a lot of Iran this morning, and the VOD should be up by now. So really, really appreciate you guys. 10 a.m. Central. Yes, 10 a.m. Central. So yeah, just for whatever that is. If you guys would like to support the live, super chats and memberships on YouTube are super, super appreciated. Okay, thank you so much. I also will throw them on the screen and talk about them. What's it called? You can find it. Just come on wherever you're at. It's right here. The morning shows at 10 a.m. right here on YouTube and TikTok. Okay. So it's right here. And the first thing we're going to talk about is ICE tomorrow. The ICE shootings, the ICE deaths, and all sorts of stuff. That's the first thing we're going to talk about tomorrow at 10 a.m. Central. So, yeah, I'll see you guys then. Please come hang out. We're having a good time. We're just talking news. Also, the phone lines open up. So if you're friendly, if you just want to talk about if something's really irking you, we're going to talk a lot about this ICE stuff. If ICE stuff has affected you, if you feel some type of a way about it in the morning, you can call in the morning. We take friendlies and everybody in the morning. Okay. So thank you guys so much. Well, I got you also the Polypolitics podcast. If you go to my link tree, you can find the link for it. The Polypolitics podcast, new episodes every Friday. This week's episode, I will be talking with a nuclear expert and retired military man, talking Iran, talking Afghanistan. Really, really great episode. You won't want to miss it. So thank you guys so much. If you guys like to continue support, like I said, on YouTube, gifts over there, absolutely huge. I love the GOAT trophy. That's like one of my favorites too. And super chats are really, really awesome over there. I got the whale diving up on TikTok just because I'm trying to clear the gift gallery. That's it. So if you got a spare whale diving in there, you can. Also, all my pay links, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, they're all at Polypolitics. So I appreciate that. You like my shirt? Thank you. I got it in Georgia. Georgia.
Hello?
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you today?
I'm excellent. How old are you?
I'm 18 years old.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do, yes. But first, before we start the debate, I would like to this is a debate, right? Not an argument?
I actually prefer for it to be more of a conversation, but
A
preferably.
conversation, okay. Well, just like some terms, can we I won't come at you for your views or anything. So I would like, because I know with the last guy you were having a lot of fun there, but I would just appreciate if you weren't to come at me with any derogatory intention.
My attitude matches yours. Okay.
All right, bet. Sounds good. All right. Well, can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why do you? Because I'm assuming you're pro-choice, correct?
I am.
So why do you consider abortion morally acceptable?
Why do I consider women being able to make their own choice morally acceptable? Because I believe choice is an inherent human right. I believe it's an inherent American right. Well, sir, I can't say that abortion is morally right because I can't have one.
Okay, well, your opinion does matter.
My opinion is that women need to be able to make their decisions on their own without the influence of men. That's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I shouldn't be able to tell somebody what they can do with their body, but that doesn't change the fact that it's still wrong and it shouldn't be allowed in our country.
Well, sir, if it's still wrong, it's wrong for the people that morally are against it that can have one, right? So the difference, I am 100% okay, like 100% with banning abortion in the United States if that vote comes only from women. And that men have no say in it whatsoever. If all the people that can get pregnant,
America works, man.
Well, sir, we're not talking about America. You're talking about morals. The United States doesn't work on morals either. The United States committed a genocide against indigenous people in this country. The United States kept black people as chattel slaveries. What happens to the United States has nothing to do with morality. Okay. What I am saying
Okay, well,
is
yeah,
that
I
I
do see
don't
I do
have a
see what you're
say
saying.
in what women do with their bodies, and that women should be able to have a say with that. So I don't believe that a woman that believes that abortion is morally wrong should be forced to have one. I find that incredibly incorrect, right? But I also find it for a woman that believes, that believes that there is no moral, anything that goes along with that to be able to have one. I believe in women's choice. That's why when you asked me, you never said whether I was pro or anti-abortion. You asked me whether I was pro-choice, and that choice does not involve me.
Hmm. Yeah, I do see what you're saying. Um, can I reevaluate my statement? I
Sure.
don't think that abortion is completely morally wrong in like certain cases where, say, the mother's life is in jeopardy. She has been raped or assaulted in any way. I find that an abortion after that is perfectly okay. But when you're talking about somebody who willingly engaged in the act of intercourse with another person, with or without the intention of having a child, that's what the entirety of sexual intercourse is about, is producing a child. So if you do end up having, an egg that has been fertilized and implanted in the uterus, that is your choice by engaging in that act.
Well,
And you
first of all,
should you should
first two things, real quick. One, no, you don't believe that. Okay, and second of all, the point of intercourse is not just to make babies. I don't know if you know that or not.
well,
I know you
sure,
said
sure
you're
it's not. Sure it's
18.
not, but
I know you said you're 18, right? But I'll let you know
yeah.
this right now. Okay, so I'm over double your age. God, that hurts my feelings to say.
Oh, yikes. Yeah, I get
Oh God, I am
it.
over double your age. Oh, that's horrific. So I personally, I've had a vasectomy. Okay,
Oh, okay.
and that's not a lot.
So
Okay,
I see
hold
where
on,
you're
real
going
quick.
with this.
Hold on, real quick, sir.
I do see. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So I've had a vasectomy, right? And I will tell you, still tons of sex. Okay, great, awesome, lots of fun. Okay,
Hell yeah.
the
Hell
point of
yeah.
it
Hell
has
yeah.
nothing to do with implantation of eggs or fertilization of eggs or anything like that. I'm doing it because I like to get down. You know what I'm saying? And it's fun to do that. You should try it sometime consensually and wear a condom because we don't want any accidental pregnancies, right? For people who haven't had one. But I just enjoy it. So the whole premise around the entire point of pregnancy is for reproduction is BS, right? And not only that, that is a very natural thing because there's multiple other species of animal in the world that have sex just for pleasure. So that's not the entire
Can you
point.
wait?
We do it for
Can you give me a few examples on that?
dolphins for one, just off the
Oh
top of
yeah.
my
Well,
head.
dolphins. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
dolphins also do have experience homosexuality, which is a whole thing. But they're also very intelligent, right? But anyways, that's
Hmm.
beyond the point. But there's multiple other species of animals that do that. But second of all, can you please explain to me? And this is just, and I'll just ask you a simple question. And I want it very short. I don't want the diatribe on this because I'm just trying to make a point. Why do you think
Okay.
that abortion is morally wrong?
Because you're terminating a life that
Perfect.
could
That's what I
possibly
thought you were going to say.
benefit or possibly not. Huh?
I said perfect. That's what I thought you were going to answer.
Sorry.
That's all I needed. Right. So when you say that you
Okay.
don't support abortion for people that have been sexually assaulted or things like incest and stuff like that, you're okay
Okay. I
with
do
terminating
support
that
abortion
life
for that.
during that part, right?
Yes, but when it's
Okay. So what
think
makes
about it
one
this
life
way.
different from the other life?
So, so the reason why I have different opinions on those two situations is because a woman who has been sexually assaulted, or on multiple cases, there's been multiple cases where women have been fine with the child that they have had due to a rape or an assault or something like that, but not like a big percentage of the time, the mother of the child, if the child is born, um, can experience like I'm having trouble finding the word, like a kind of like a hate towards the child because of she didn't choose that, she didn't blah blah blah. But the reason why I believe it's different is because she how do I say this?
I don't know.
Sorry, I'm kind of nervous. I never really debated before.
You're good, man. So maybe I can just get to your point real quick. So what I'm saying with the point of this is, if you are saying that it is a life and you are taking that life, then the situation around how that life is created shouldn't matter. Right? Just plain and simple. Whether it's sexual assault, whether it's incest, whether anything, if you are saying that it is life, then it is life regardless of the situation. But what you are saying, right, is that the situation in which that life was created matters, which I agree with you 100%. I 1000% agree with you on, all right? Because that's, and like you would say, what I would consider my moral stance towards the thing, okay? So if you were saying, if you're saying that the situation in which it happened matters, then what you are saying, okay, is that the woman and her body and the way she is impregnated matters, right? And again, I completely agree with that. So what you are saying is, it is not life, like you are not creating a standard, right, for the fetus. You are creating a standard for the woman. And I'm doing the same thing. Except for my standard is just expansive to make sure that women get health care, right? Mine is expansive to make sure that we don't have women like women that the situation that happened in Georgia not too long ago, where a woman died on a hospital bed because of lack of abortion access, even though it was a non-viable fetus. Or the woman that just recently had a judge order her to have a C-section, right, while she was pregnant, even though she had had complications and was risking her own life in order to do it, and a judge come down and say it, right? And that woman wanted to have the kid, I'm pretty sure, and just didn't want to have a C-section because of the dangers involved with it. But a court went in and demanded that her body was pretty much a vessel of the state, right? You do realize that the majority of women that have abortions too have children, right? Like have prior children.
Yes, I'm aware of that.
Yeah. So the reasons why they have abortions, first of all, is personal, right? And none of my fucking business. Like I had a vasectomy and it's none of your fucking business, right? Or anybody here, right? There's shit between all the lives. There's about 900 people watching. It's none of their business. Why I had why I had a vasectomy, right? And I don't think I'd want any of your or their opinions on whether I was going to have a vasectomy or whether I was not going to have a vasectomy. I decided to have one, and that was the end of it. And that affects all of my reproduction and my future reproduction and all that sort of stuff. So what I'm saying is, why should why should I have a say in what other people do with their reproductive organs? Seems unfair.
Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna be very honest. You have kind of altered my opinion. Quite a lot actually, and thank you for that.
Can I give you another? You said you're 18, right?
Yes, I
Yeah, you have a girlfriend?
yes, I do. Yeah.
Awesome. I'm just gonna give you a little piece of advice, okay, from a guy who I'll turn 40 this year. I'm over double your age. Okay.
Yeah.
Who's been, I have a kid. I've been in lots of relationships, and in a very, very awesome, great, healthy one right now with a beautiful woman, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to get a lot further in life with women if you let them make their own decisions without trying to get yourself involved in it. And especially if you try to legislate it. That's just an experience thing talking. Okay. Just like you, any woman worth her damn probably doesn't like just being told what to do, unless in certain situations, right? But those back to the baby making thing, right? Those are different, right? We all have a little fun every once in a while. But what I'm saying is, okay, is that your ability to women have been subjugated for a long time in this country by men. Sorry, let me even correct that even further. Women have been subjugated for most of humanity by men in many different cultures across many different continents against many different time frames, right?
And I do agree with that. Women have been seriously treated wrong and objectified, basically since the existence of our species, which is morally wrong. And I do agree with that. And I do.
Yeah.
And I
so
do,
maybe we stop doing it.
I mean, to this day, women are still objectified, and I think it's a good thing that there's people like you out there changing people's minds, because a lot of my opinions they come from my father, and maybe
Yeah.
that's not a good thing. But
Hey, well, guess what?
people like you, man, people like you are God sent, seriously. And I don't want to make any woman in this life feel like I was trying to tell them what they had to do with their bodies. That's not my intention at all. I just value human life a lot.
Me too. Me too. And I'll tell you this, okay? As a father of a daughter who's in high school, okay, who's older, okay, who's gonna be in that situation later. We fuck up like dads, moms too, more dads. We fuck up all the time, okay, with our kids.
Hmm.
We're doing the best we can, and a lot of it is just us how we were raised and how they were raised and how they were raised, and we have these bad habits that are taught to us generationally. Okay, and that doesn't mean that your dad's a bad guy or that he tried to raise you wrong or anything like that. It's just that he is doing the best he can, and he can be wrong too, because he was raised by somebody that was not perfect, who was raised by someone who was not perfect, who was raised by someone who was not perfect, who was raised by someone who was not perfect. And it's not your job to be your dad or to listen to your dad or your mom, or it's your job to make those decisions and make that change better for the next generation. Okay, because and this, like, just being honest, like I said, my daughter's in high school. Okay, you are in my daughter's like dating range because she's in high school and you're 18, right? Like, stay the fuck away, but you're in her range, right? And I just said,
Yeah.
I'll whoop your ass, boy. You better watch it. Uh, but but no, but I'm serious, and I tell you what, when my daughter does start getting serious with guys, uh, if that's what she chooses to be serious with, right? Guys, not girls, whatever. I promise you that these are the type of questions that I'm going to inquire about the guy that she's going to be, future with. And I'm not going to make the decisions for my daughter on who she dates and who she's not, because that's me telling her who she can and can't date ain't going to help shit anyway, cuz she's strong-willed, you know? But I guarantee you that because I've raised her right, she respects my advice, you know? And I'm
Yeah.
not going to have her with somebody that doesn't respect her for being the young lady that she is, smart, intelligent. And I'm sure as hell not going to have somebody knocking her up, or, getting her pregnant, and her not having
Hmm.
a choice on what she does with it. And because of the state that we live in, she's not going to happen. She's not.
Oh, do you mind asking? Do you mind if I ask what state? Oh, you're Florida, correct?
I am Florida. Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yep. I am
In
Florida.
my state, in my state, it is 100% legal. I think up until like the 15th or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah. And in my
Uh,
state, I think it's 6. And most women don't even know they're pregnant by the time Florida law kicks in. So
once
that's the
again,
unfortunate part.
sir, I would like to thank you seriously. Part of the reason why I came on here is because I've been having trouble justifying my beliefs, and I feel like I need somebody to give me a different perspective.
Here's the only perspective you need, and I'm telling you this right now, big dog. Okay,
Mhm.
listen to women; they're smarter than us. Okay,
And they're a little more pretty too, huh?
way more pretty, way prettier than me. That's our, I'm pretty as shit, but way prettier than even me. All right, brother, I'm gonna let you go. You have a good one, all right, man.
All right, you have a blessed day, sir.
You too, brother. Way pretty. Like, just listen to women. Okay, I'm. Trust me, I run. I ask Ari. I run like half the shit I do by, probably more than that. I probably run shit by Ari that she's probably like, "Will you stop? will you stop? Will you shut the hell, like, just go do it." Uh it's crazy. That was a little epiphany that I had in my head there, where I was like, "Oh my god, you're 18. Like, you're like, my daughter's almost in that dating age." That's crazy, dude. That's crazy, dude. That's wild. Mm. Should be, yeah. That's scary. Yeah, saying she'll be fucking 16 this year. She'll be 16 here. You know, most of the young guys, like the 18-year-olds, the guys like that. I don't know if he was honest. I don't know if he was truthful. I don't know. Whatever. He sounded honest to me. But first of all, hold on. Silver Soul, I will kick you all the way the fuck out of my live right now. Like I will have you fucking say some shit like that again in my fucking life. I will have you all the way the fuck removed, Grandpa Polly. I will come through this goddamn screen. Don't kick him. No, some of them are, I don't know if he was truthful. I don't know if he really felt that way. I don't know. But really, for all you guys that are 18, 19, even if you guys are younger than that, whatever. You listening to these Andrew Tate fucking Nick Fuentes fucking dudes. I'm just letting you know, dude, it's not gonna help you get laid. I'm just being really honest with you, dude. I'm telling you right now, it is not going to help. It's not gonna fucking help, dude. If you're I know how it is being a 17, 18, 19-year-old fucking dude, all right? All loaded for bear, running around. It ain't gonna fucking help, dude. You know, it can only make things worse for you. it's hard enough, okay? It's hard enough. You're just making it worse for you. All right? You are making your life infinitely more difficult. All right? Maybe if you grew up when I grew up in like the super conservative Christian, like bubble that I lived in, maybe, but dude, you better stop it, bro. You're gonna fuck yourself, and I mean that actually literally, okay? for a long time. AWT, thank you so much for the $2 super chat. Said more vasectomies in 2026. I had mine a long time ago. I fell asleep during mine, and I'm sure that the skills have gotten better now. Okay, I literally fell asleep during mine, so it's really not that serious. I don't know why dudes be tripping out about them. They had to wake me up. They're like, "Sir, we're in the middle of a procedure," and I was like, I got comfy, bro. They had me all loaded up on all sorts of stuff. Sam, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said you should 100% upload that conversation as a video. W Convo, I could definitely refer back to it if I need to change someone's mind on my own time. I will promise you, Sam, that I will do that. I don't know when, but I will do it. Okay, that I can promise. Actually, I might be able to timestamp it. Add stream marker. I'll try to do that real quick. I will try to do that. I might have time tomorrow before tennis. Like I said, I am slammed the next few days. So I'm doing my best. But I will try to do it tomorrow, okay? I'll try to do it tomorrow. If not, don't let me forget. Tara, don't let me forget. Tara will keep me in check. Tara will keep me in check. All right, let's keep this thing going for a little bit. I'm having a little bit of fun. I almost didn't come on tonight, so I'm having a lot of fun, and so we'll keep it going for a second. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 30.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Awesome. What's on your mind, man?
So, just like you, father, you have one daughter, correct?
I do, yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Mine
middle of middle school right now, in a private school, been in private school since pre-K, etc. Some of the things that are on my mind, and we can really pick whatever direction you want to go. Reasons I support Trump when we think about the One Big Beautiful Bill Act, government spending specifically, when we think about federal aid cuts, Medicaid cuts, etc. I know that doesn't sound good right away, but definitely something that I support on what they've restricted on it. Then coming back to me having multiple daughters, you having a daughter, when I think about children, the Trump accounts, the school of choice being opened up to where they have the opportunity to move from public to private schools without having to pay extraordinary amounts in any income household. And then also, I know a lot of folks on the chat and also on the call have talked about borders and ICE, et cetera, but more specifically, like border control is what I would say is another reason I support Trump. And then also giving abortion the decision to be done by the state rather than at a federal level, as well as really focusing on if we provide funding at a government level, then we strictly follow the Hyde Amendment. So those are kind of my four things that are on my mind.
Just to be clear, hold on.
tonight,
When have we?
but
Yeah, I actually don't want to sit on this, but when have we not like followed the Hyde Amendment?
So the
Just
Hyde
real quick,
Amendment.
I don't want to sit on this subject.
Yeah.
But you said we should follow the Hyde Amendment strictly, and I just want to know at what point in time have we not followed it strictly?
Yep. So there was roughly about right under $1 million of government spending pushed and saying it was under the Hyde Amendment when really it wasn't. So something that Trump has done pretty recently this year. Yeah, no, you're good. Go ahead.
No. What did you? There was $1 million of government. What are you talking about?
So within what these agencies, the Planned Parenthood, they received government funding close to about $1 million, claiming it fell under the Hyde Amendment, so it was rape, incest, etc. When really, as they dug deeper into it, it wasn't. So these abortions that did not fall under or shouldn't fall under the Hyde Amendment were being funded by the government.
Where are you seeing this?
Yeah, so I mean, I don't have the link on me directly.
I mean, I don't need the link. You're gonna have to give me something that shows that, because I've never seen anything even remotely close to what you're saying, and I'm pretty dug in on this topic. So I'll be honest, I don't believe you.
Yeah, I mean, that's fine.
Yeah, considering
we could always shift. I mean, I listed off four topics.
I want to get. I really want to get into private school as a guy who went to private school his entire life and knows how shitty it is. And I also want to get into the Medicaid and SNAP cuts. So I really, really do want to get into those. But if you're going to say some stuff like that, like I do feel like I need to like get to that point first, because if we're saying that the Hyde Amendment, which as far as I know, at least with all intention, has been used properly, if there was something that was misused accidentally, and then corrected, then that's a lot different. But you're saying that we need to use it strictly for that. And as far as I know, the Hyde Amendment has been used completely to the letter of the law. For y'all out there that aren't familiar with the Hyde Amendment just says that you can't use government funds to fund abortions. So do you have anywhere where I can find this information? If
Again,
you don't,
I
that's
just
fine.
have you on my phone. I'm out of town. If
Where
I had
did
a
you see
laptop, I
it?
would
Where
look
did
it
you
up
see
and-
it?
Honestly, I cannot cite the exact source. I know I have read it. But let's just say claiming Hyde Amendment has been followed 100%. I know the previous caller was talking about if it was morally correct or not. I think it's
I don't want to
just
dig into the abortion
beneficial
topic. I
going.
already had the whole abortion conversation with him.
Yeah, no.
I just
And I'm not
if
going
there
to talk
was
about the moral portion of it. I just think that the states having the decision, like alone, Trump being able to do that is a benefit rather than
that's
it
the
being
craziest thing I've
enforced
ever
at
had
a
in my life.
federal
Heard in my
level.
life. Yeah, that's a crazy. That's pretty much the essential like comparison of me saying that states should be able to decide whether they have slavery or not. We've had a whole war over that one, right? Human rights shouldn't be decided by the state.
Yeah. I mean, I can see that point. I think slavery is a lot more of an extreme than abortion. Um, and it definitely, I mean, depending on your state, there's multiple that like lean heavier into disagreeing with it and seeing it as, like a previous caller was saying, it morally incorrect. So that's where the states would differ. Where if I was in like California, the majority is going to be for it.
Oklahoma is ranked 49th in the United States in education, and the latest education bill they passed was to make sure that the 10 commandments were in schools. I don't think that states are incredibly qualified to be making decisions on what happens with women's bodies. Like if you can't look at your entire education system and see it as completely failed and try to divert to religion instead, then I don't think that if that women being forced into probably the most traumatic thing that's going to happen to their bodies, and that's decided because a state defaults to religion instead of reality or science, then I don't think in any way, shape, or form it's helpful to move from the federal government to the state. In fact, I think the exact opposite. I think it should be moved to the federal government and made legal up to a certain point across the United States, and where they can't restrict it. I think Roe v. Wade didn't go far enough at all.
Okay. I think that was a really good transition as well when we start thinking about, you mentioned that the school systems, specifically earlier, you were saying you went to private school. It was
Every year.
really crappy. Yep.
Didn't
And
didn't miss a day.
Yep. And we were potentially going to talk about that, but then
Yeah, let's talk
just
about
a
it.
moment
Well, no,
ago,
like
you
I
were
said, it went off
mentioning
because
how,
this whole
like,
thing with the Hyde Amendment that you're talking about, and like, let's just be honest, and I'm not trying to be rude. The whole thing with the Hyde Amendment
good.
not being used strictly is bullshit. Like it's complete bullshit. And so I just want to make it clear because I just don't like things like that. I have no problem sticking to a topic, but I don't like things that are just like completely like non-factual, like that there's money being funneled from the federal government for abortion care. That's just horseshit, right? It hasn't happened ever, and I just don't like to keep that unchecked. But no, that's fine. So you want private school? So you said your kids go to private school?
Yep, they've been going to private
Christian
school.
schools, I'm
I
assuming?
previously funded it. And then when they ended up pushing for school of choice, definitely benefited from that and have been able to still pay for her schooling, but at a reduced rate.
Yeah. Do you know how many like public schools are being like shut down due to that right now?
Yeah, definitely.
So why do you
However,
think? Sorry, can I ask? Is it a Christian school or a Catholic school or is it a religious school of some sort?
yeah, it's religious, it's Christian.
Yeah. Yeah. So gotcha. So why should kids that can't afford to pay the difference, right? So need to go to public school, right? Suffer due to lack of funding so that you can send your kid to a religious school.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that point, right? So then on the other hand, why should then looking from that child to my child, why should my child suffer and not be able to be raised with Christian values?
No one said they couldn't. Hold on. No,
Well,
that's not the option. No, that's not the option.
Yeah.
The option is either A, you can send your kid to public school for free, right? Or if you want to and instill whatever religious values that you want at your house, or you can take that kid and put them in public or private Christian school at the cost of those other kids, right? See, in one, you can send them to public school, then all those kids get the same education, right? They both get to grow up and be raised and have a great education. In the other, you then take money from one kid, give it to your kid so that your kid can get an education based off of your religious beliefs that is probably less adequate than they were getting at the public school. So not only is your kid getting a less adequate education, but now the other kid is also getting a less adequate education.
Yeah. So just to clarify on that, so when we think about adequate, like I'm not going to say where specifically my kids are going to school, but we're in North
Do
Carolina,
not want to know.
and the zone that we are in our city, on average, the schools are at about 2 out of 10. So not testing the best, not the greatest public school options. I grew up in public school, nothing against it. Just the options specifically where we're at is just not great at all. There are multiple private schools, and some are religious, some are not. So when we think about kids that the funding is being cut on the public schools, depending on what their household income is, if they are lower income, there are multiple religious, non-religious, so they really have the options, at least specifically where I live. And I don't live in anywhere fantastic, et cetera. There's plenty out there. So they have that funding. If they shut down a public school, they're able to go to a private school of their choice. If it's going to be non-religious, they can. So kind of going back to that point, they're still going to be able to have the option to go regardless of their income level. And then you said adequate. My daughter specifically, and the majority specifically at her school, test anywhere from 1 to 3 grade levels above the public schools average, not just within our city or state, but nationally. Now, we have moved her previously. Another private school was not testing at that rate. She was testing about a grade below. So I can see your point where it's not some of the private schools are adequate or not. However, I will say the one that she was testing below had smaller amounts of funding to be able to get those lower income
Guess you a quick question.
children into their school.
How many kids do you have?
Yeah, go ahead. 3.
Awesome. And how much are you paying, even with school choice, for them to go to school every month?
Yep, 120. It's about a little over 120 per kid.
120 per kid. How much was it before school choice?
Right at about 800 per kid, and that's per
800
month.
per kid.
So if you look at
That's a
if
lot
you
of
look at
money.
annual funding, they're usually about 7,000 to 8,000. It is a lot of money, right?
Yeah. So you're talking. Hold on, real quick. So you're talking $2,400 a month.
Yep,
In North Carolina.
you got it. Yep.
Yeah. So for $2,800 a month, plus what I'm assuming you're paying in rent or your mortgage or whatever that you're paying, you could literally move to damn near any school district that exists in the entire state. Like literally any. I don't know if there's a school district that I could find in North Carolina that you couldn't move to for $2,800 plus whatever your rent is. So what you're doing is you could move to a better area with a better public school for all your kids, right? Probably send them to church camp and everything else during the summers, right? But you're choosing to stay in the worst area with the worst public schools to send your kids to a private school that, yeah, maybe this one tests, somewhat better. I promise you that when they go to the real world, it's not going to help them, right? I promise you that. I will tell you that from personal experiences growing up in these types of religious schools. They do not help you when you go out in the real world. They actually hurt you quite a bit, right? But it just seems kind of funny that you're so worried about sending them to this type of thing. And now we're at a situation is, well, you're paying less, and I'm sure you're happy you're paying less for your kids to get a religious education, even though we have a direct, obvious, non-separation of church and state that is now existing. So now people that don't believe in your religion are having to cover your kids' schooling at the rate of $680 a month for you to make a choice to send them to a school, which maybe in your case, right? Maybe in your specific case, this school is better, but where the majority of kids are going to worse schools that are preparing them less for the real world. That doesn't sound like a good deal to me. That sounds like an actual really absolutely horrible deal. Yeah, that sounds like, dare I say it, sounds kind of like segregation.
Well, so you mentioned the financial part of it, right? So do you know how much, when we can go into North Carolina specifically, or we can look at the national average, do you know how much federal and state funding on average goes into the public schools per child?
I mean, I don't know it for North Carolina, no.
Well, just like if it was the national average or
Well, I don't even
your
think I know the
state.
national average, like just directly. No, what is it?
Okay, so if we're looking at average, we're at about $28,000, and that's a combination of federal and state and additional funding. North Carolina is actually on the lower end, but that's per child. So when we think about financially and what's a good or what is a good deal, what's not a good deal, I see this as, if I'm the government and we're thinking about our taxpayers, I'm spending annually as a taxpayer for Bob's little boy or girl to go to a private school of their choice. Let's say I'm funding the whole thing. I'm funding $7,000 to $8,000. When on the other hand, I could fund Bob's little boy or girl to go to public school for over $20,000, and that would come out of our taxes, same way that they're doing the funding for the school of choice to go into these private schools. So I see that definitely as like a strong benefit. I do hate that, well, public schools then are struggling because of it. Specifically, like I keep bringing it back to my city. There's definitely plenty of public schools, some of them that are shutting down or near shutdown. It's not going to greatly impact the community to where, honestly, what I have seen, it's benefited it, to where they're able to go to a school just a little bit further down the road, and sometimes it's even testing better. So the ones that are usually the lowest are the ones that are getting shut down in specifically my area. So financially, I see it as a benefit to taxpayers. And then when we think about,
just real quick,
you're good. Go ahead.
What state taxes fund public schools?
Yeah, no.
What type of state taxes?
I guess, tell me what you mean by what.
It's property taxes. Property taxes generally fund public schooling. Sorry, I'll just get straight to the point. Property taxes generally fund public schooling. Okay. So again, you're talking about a national average, which I understand probably fits your point, but again, a national average doesn't really say what we need to talk about here, right? Because I don't know where in North Carolina you're at. Like if you're in someplace like, like Raleigh, Durham, or you're in someplace like Charlotte, probably that number is very low, or that same number if you're in, rural Illinois is probably a lot higher, right? Because just the way that, money, changes value depending on what part of the United States that you're in, right? But again, I still draw back to the fact that you could have easily just moved to a place with higher property taxes and gotten a place that spent more per kid than you did. My issue, like more per kid than you're in right now, and solve this entire problem. My biggest problem with religious schools, it's not even the religion. I have a problem with that, but that's not really the big deal. Okay. My problem with religious schools is that there's an entire sect of the day that is dedicated to not your further education. Right? Every year, and I went to Christian school my entire life. From the time I was by the time I could walk, I went to preschool in a Christian school and graduated high school from a Christian school. It never stopped, right? There was an entire sect of my day that was just learning about the Bible. And during the time of the day when I was supposed to be learning about what's going to help me for the rest of the day. right? Granted, I was going to church 4 times a week and leading praise bands and giving sermons and everything else. So I guess it didn't really matter to me, right? You know, it took me years to figure out evolution afterwards. Like decades after I graduated, like decade and a half afterwards to be like, oh shit. My problem with religious school is not that they exist. If you want to send your kid to a religious school, I really don't give a shit. I think it's bad. I've told my parents that. I told my parents that one thing I wish they hadn't done was do that. Right? I really don't care. I just think it's kind of ridiculous that you guys have gotten to the point where now not only are you guys wanting to send your kids to religious school, but you want everybody else to pay for it. Like, and I would imagine you probably think of yourself as a constitutionalist, or you probably think about yourself as whatever. You do have freedom, right, to send your kids wherever you want to send them, and you can do that as long as your kids are getting an education. And let's be also very clear when it comes to Christian schools and private schools in general, they don't meet state certifications, so a lot of them aren't even qualified to be teaching what they're actually teaching, right? Let's be very clear that they don't even meet state qualifications, and that's in states that are even shittier, right? So they don't even know what they're teaching, right? But it's just like, you're not helping anyone. It's only hurting others, right? If you could afford $800 a kid to send them to private school before a school choice hit, then you could probably afford it now. And you're choosing to take that money and go on vacation or whatever you're going to do with it, while some other kid who is forced to go to public school now has to travel further, which means they have to wake up earlier. You know, they now are getting, less of an education in a more crowded classroom. You're just using your privilege to you could have used your privilege to help your kids, and you instead chose not only to just use your privilege to help your kids, but you use it to make sure that you could hurt someone else so you were even more privileged. And I have a big issue with that. I have a big issue because most people in the United States can't afford $2,400 to send their kids to private school. Right? It's just is what it is. Most kids' parents can't afford $2,800 to send them to private school, which means that you can. $2,400, sorry. Means you can, which means you're already talking from a place of privilege. And then to take that money and go, not only I'm going to make sure that I use somebody else's money for the kids that can't pay shit, right? That can't afford, that are probably on some of the SNAP benefits and some of the Medicaid benefits that you're also advocating for being reduced. I'll be honest, dude. Kind of sounds like you're a welfare queen. I don't know what a welfare queen is, but kind of sounds like you're a welfare queen. Sounds like you're kind of just using government assistance to kind of give yourself a leg up on for your kids at the expense of everybody else's tax dollars.
Yeah. So I guess let me jump in. There was a lot there.
No,
so
I'm good.
First, you were.
You can call back another day.
Well,
I'm done with you. Yeah, I'm just ending the show because I felt like he was going to go into like a really in-depth conversation, and I realized it's like I have to be live again tomorrow morning in 12 hours, okay? I haven't even eaten dinner. I'm exhausted. Y'all, I will be back on tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for the morning show. We're going to talk a lot about ICE and the death that they're causing, okay? So, if you guys would like to come and support, hang out, even if you guys can't support by anything else, come and tap the screen, send a little heart me or something in the morning. I'd really appreciate you guys, okay? So I'll see you guys tomorrow at 10 a.m. I'm going to schedule that as soon as we're off, and I hope you guys have a wonderful evening, all right? I love you guys. 10 a.m. Central. 10 a.m. Central. Sorry. I keep forgetting. 10 a.m. Central. All right? Love you guys. Bye.